Batteries fully charged. Launch ready for WWE Aftershock in 3, 2, 1. World Wrestling Entertainment Discussion is live. Cue host Owen Finch.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 2 of the WWE Aftershock Extra. I'm Owen the Birdman Finch, and I'm here with
Chris.
And this is probably the biggest episode we've had of this show since it started. The Royal Rumble was a pretty big one, but obviously we're doing a bunch of different things. We're going to be talking about, the Hall of Fame, Stand and Deliver, WrestleMania these past couple of days, and we're also going to be talking about some big news that came out of it that I don't want to talk about. And we're not going to talk about it until we've reviewed all the shows, just because we want to make sure we review all the shows first. And we don't want to spend too much time talking about, that in the beginning. But, yeah, let's start off talking about the shows. I forgot to send you my notes because these past couple of days have just been so crazy. So just give me a second so I can send you the Hall of Fame notes. Overall, to counteract some dead air time and stuff, how do you feel, without giving too much away overall, about just the since we're just covering the WWE side, the week of WrestleMania and everything, this mainly Hall of Fame and everything like that?
It was good. I liked it. It was a good week. Let's say a disappointing end to a very strong week.
Yeah, we'll talk about it more in depthly. But I would say we had probably one of the best WrestleManias of all time.
It's the highest grossing one, that's for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely say that main event definitely ended things on a bad note, but we'll talk about that when we actually cover the main event and everything like that. So we're gonna start with the Hall of Fame first. I figured you'd do Hall of Fame notes because you remember promos and things like that better than everyone does, and
maybe I don't.
Huh?
Maybe I do, maybe I don't.
Yeah, maybe you don't. And you get you can obviously break it down quicker than I can. So why don't we go through the Hall of Fame?
Okay, so Hall of Fame happened after SmackDown. It was I didn't mind the Hall of Fame this year. Very small class, but I think it was only around 5 people that went into Hall of Fame this year. But yeah, I thought it was a very, very. The class itself, people say it's a weak class, and from the outside looking in, it kind of does look like a weak class, just because of Andy Kaufman and Stacy Keibler and Muta, Tim White and Rey Mysterio. But I don't mind it being a small class.
I would say too, if Andy Kaufman and Tim White was still alive and things, they would probably feel different. Because that was a thing. I think two of the big people in the class just passed. Well, not one recently, and one has been dead for a while now. But I would say if Andy Kaufman was actually able to be there, people would feel differently at least about that. Obviously, the Great Muta was a big one. A lot of people. I think because he didn't do a big speech, obviously, because he doesn't speak English the best. Maybe that's why people are saying that. I mean, we're going to talk about it when we talk about his speech and stuff. But Stacy Keibler was definitely the weakest one.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I liked how this year was a little bit different.
Yeah,
they had Michael Cole and Wade Barrett after SmackDown.
Yeah,
they basically cut right into right after SmackDown to the Hall of Fame. And right off the bat, they say it's going to be about 15 minutes before the Hall of Fame starts. And they went back and forth with different people. your hosts were Corey Graves and Caleb Braxton, and they would cut back and forth between Michael Cole and Wade Barrett and Caleb Braxton and Corey Graves until the
They
Hall of
also
Fame. And I really
they also
liked
had
that.
they also had like host I guess they weren't like the hosts, but they were like the hosts of like the pre-show. It was like Byron Saxton and Maria Menounos. Byron Saxton did some obviously was good. I know Maria Menounos can be like very iffy sometimes because but I don't mind her coming in for the Hall of Fame because that's like a thing that she can do because she obviously hosted like not but I remember she hosted like that Hollywood show and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a similar thing.
She's in the entertainment business.
Yeah, and she's like a big wrestling fan and all that type of stuff.
Been involved with WWE for like over 10 years now, so
which is crazy, yeah.
In terms of like WrestleMania weekend, like Hall of Fame, she's wrestled in the show before, like
yeah.
She's had a big part of it, so I don't mind her being I don't mind her being like a host or whatever.
But take us through some of the interviews on the kickoff and things like that.
I don't really remember a whole lot of the interviews. I remember they interviewed Corey Graves and Carmella, and like they kept on bragging about how good Carmella looked, and I just looked at her hair and I was like, "What the fuck is that on your head?
Yeah,
the fuck did you do with your hair?"
We talked about this, I think, on the last episode of WWE Aftershock. Something clearly happened with Carmella where she couldn't compete at WrestleMania because she was clearly supposed to have a match, obviously at Mania, but something happened that caused plans to get changed. We've been speculating what it is, but we don't obviously know for sure because we don't think it's a pregnancy. We were like messaging each other back and forth last night and stuff like that.
Yeah,
we don't think it is because she just recently had an issue with her pregnancy and stuff before and stuff. And I don't think if they were going to try to have a baby again, she would have come back. Because she came back at the Rumble. Did she come back at the Rumble or like after the Rumble? I forget exactly.
I think it was the Monday after the Rumble.
Yeah. So
or Thursday, whether Monday or Friday after the Rumble is one. It was like within a week or so after the Rumble.
Yeah. I'll run through some of these other interviews. Obviously, Booker T and Sharmell got interviewed. We should talk about this real quick. Booker T was like, I know he crap on his commentary, but he was a workhorse this weekend. Like, not only was he at Hall of Fame, I know like there's a time difference there and everything like that. But the Hall of Fame probably got over relatively late. Then he had to be up at 6 a.m. for because that was when Colin was done for Stand and Deliver, and then he had to
6 a.m. bell time is brutal.
Yeah, and then he did the kickoff later in the night, and then he had to do the kickoff again, like the panel and everything, on Sunday. So it was like he had
NXT on Tuesday too. Also,
huh?
He's got to do NXT again on Tuesday.
Yeah, like fly to. I think that's a fly to the Performance Center and everything too. Like
fucking insane.
Crazy
ass weekend.
Yeah.
Like we give him a lot of shit, but like he was like a trooper this weekend.
Yeah, and then Kurt Angle got interviewed on the kickoff. He talked about Rey Mysterio and how he went into the Hall of Fame like kind of when he was still active and stuff. So he was giving like Rey advice and stuff. Charlotte Flair got interviewed. She talked about basically Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, and she talked about how her fiance was there, not fiance, but her husband was there, which
the husband.
Yep.
Who goes unnamed.
Yep. And he could be there tonight. We don't know. Obviously, the Miz and Maurice got interviewed. They talked about hosting WrestleMania and things like that. Sami Zayn got interviewed. He talked about a big weekend he was about to have, and then the Street Profits got interviewed. They were interviewed, I think, by I think it was Kathy Kelly because she did the interviews also backstage.
Oh yeah, and Byron Saxton too.
Yeah, because like Montez Ford and Byron Saxton were basically wearing the same suits, and they were like joking around with each other and all that type of stuff, and they were just throwing shade at Angelo Dawkins because he was not dressed.
He was dressed in a fucking black tuxedo.
Yeah, so they were not happy with him. So take us through now the actual ceremony.
Yes, I will. Overall, though, give my the interviews were actually insightful, and I actually liked them.
Yeah, I know. Usually when they've done I don't think we've reviewed like Hall of Fame since it's been since they've done it like with SmackDown, because I think that was a pandemic thing. I know they did it. I think we've reviewed one since they've like switched up like when they've done. Well, it's just in the ring now. It's not like like it's not the original setup like it was.
I like the new setup where they go into the ring.
Yeah,
I love that one.
I was worried that I was worried that was going away in 2019. Obviously, when we had that situation with where Hulk getting attacked, but I'm glad they kept it. And then
I was ass kicked by literally everyone.
Yeah. And then I like the fact now that it's right after SmackDown because you at least get to see some wrestling. Because I've talked about it with Steve, and I think I talked about it with you before. Once you kind of go to a Hall of Fame, you don't really feel the need to go again to a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's like you go once. It's like, okay, I know what the premise of this is.
Yeah. So I like that you get. I like that you at least get to go to like SmackDown and stuff. And there's an intermission. I didn't know they'd be like because I assume because they have to set up the ring and everything and like. As you saw later on, the commentary team wasn't even there anymore. So
no, they were there.
I kind of wish
15 minutes like after the SmackDown was over.
I kind of wish they would have kept the commentary team just so that way, like, there wasn't like dead silence when they were doing their entrances and stuff. Because especially this year, because with what happens later in the show, imagine Michael Cole would not have been happy with a certain thing that happens doing race speech. He would have freaking lost his mind.
He would have lost. I think it would have been interesting if they had like Barrett and Cole, at commentary, and then giving career statistics about them as they made their way to the ring.
Especially for Conan,
even the presenters too. Like they could have rattled off a few facts about Conan, about the Kaufmans and whatnot. Like, would have been interesting.
It would have been cool. But yeah, take us through the actual Hall of Fame ceremony.
I also want one more thing about the Kurt Angle interview. I was like, he was trying to get his wife on the fucking camera.
Yeah,
and
she wouldn't go.
So fucking funny. Like, no, it's all about you. It's all about you. And she was like 50 feet off the camera.
I know.
I laughed so hard.
I don't even think she knew she was on camera by that point because she was like still on camera, like over to the side.
It was like awkwardly like Kurt was like in between them, and she was like 10 feet off to the side. That's
like
so
funny. I think like Byron Saxon tried to get like in there. I remember at one point too. We knew Mick Foley was there. I don't think we knew he was going to be a presenter, but I remember Michael Cole was just like, "Hey, we have the backstage with a hardcore legend. It was clearly supposed to be Mick Foley." And they're like, "Well, we couldn't quite get away with Mick Foley. He had to go off and do something." So then they ended up having this interview. I think it was like Booker T and Shamel. They ended up having this interview. Like they were like, "Oh shit, we can't interview Mick Foley. That sucks." Like it was like, it was like it was hilarious. Like
so. Now getting onto the actual part of the Hall of Fame. First we have in the ring is Mick Foley. So you mean to tell me that Mick Foley just magically appeared in the ring and his music just hits right away as he's standing there at the microphone? I was like, okay, really fucking weird. And it's Mick Foley and Tori Wilson to present the newest WWE Hall of Fame inductee, Stacy Keibler. Now, I will say this. I don't think she belongs in the Hall of Fame.
We talked about it, yeah.
What the fuck did she do in her career that was worthy of being called a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Now, Tori Wilson at least won championships in WWE. And, so I get why she was put in the Hall of Fame. Because she actually won something.
And she was in she was in some pretty, Tori Wilson was in some pretty big storylines. Like, she was part of, like, Vince's Devils, like, back in 2006. And then she had the Playboy match at WrestleMania, at least.
Which are the two Playboy covers, too, also.
Yeah, so she's at least... the biggest thing...
Women's Championship, like, once or twice.
I believe you. Correct. The biggest thing that... I think wasn't she a part of a storyline... I know it was a different Tori, but wasn't she with X-Pac? Wasn't Tori Wilson herself with X-Pac at one point?
No, that was the other. That was Tori.
That was the other Tori. Yeah. I think the biggest thing that Stacy Keibler has done is got RKO'd by Randy Orton, and it wasn't even about her. It was about fucking Randy Orton turning heel. Like
The thing with the video package for her was, it was 95% ass and legs. Like, nothing about her in-ring ability whatsoever. It was all ass and legs. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, why is she going into a Hall of Fame? I can't hear you on my end. I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is so stupid. But she's
What about now?
yeah, I can hear you now. She's in the Hall of Fame. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't think she belongs in the Hall of Fame. They cared more about her looks more than her actual ability in the ring.
Yeah.
And her speech was cut dry too, also.
We talked about it too. Mick Foley had to be like one of the inductees because he got told, like, I think right when she was announced, like she wanted Mick Foley to induct her. And Mick Foley legit had like nothing to say about it. Like the biggest story he told about it was the fact that like they just both happened to be at like the same, like, was it football or baseball game? I don't exactly remember. Like the same sports game at like the exact same time. That's like the biggest story he told about it.
And the fact that she's nice.
Yeah.
Like, I just never got like, so you duck someone in the Hall of Fame because they're nice.
Yeah.
What?
And then
like her speech like was 90%. The best fans in the entire wrestling world is the WWE Universe. The best fans. I'm like, you can't sound any more robotic if you even tried.
And then I think the best part about it too was when Mick Foley was announced as one of the inductees, everybody started chanting Mick Foley because I don't think they've seen Mick Foley like in a WWE win probably since before the pandemic, to my knowledge.
I think when he with a 24/7 championship.
No, when he was attacked by the Fiend, I think was the last time.
Yes, at the Thunderdome, because the 24/7 championship was like the year prior.
Yeah, and then so they haven't seen Mick Foley in a long ass time. Everyone just started chanting Mick Foley and stuff. It got to the point where Mick Foley had to be like, "Okay, this isn't about me tonight. It's about Stacy Keibler." Like it was.
I just don't think she belongs in the Hall of Fame. Other people can think it. Fine. If you like her, you like the fact that she's in the Hall of Fame, that's up to you. That's perfectly fine. I personally don't think she belongs in the Hall of Fame just because ass and legs. That's the only reason why she's in the Hall of Fame. She had no skill whatsoever.
The best part about her speech was she tried to like cross over her speech by saying these are the same fans that voted me as like the one of the finalists or something in Dancing with the Stars. And I'm like, wait a minute. Wrestling fans do not care about Dancing with the Stars for the most part. They don't watch it. Like
I know. I can tell you like maybe I watched maybe one season.
Probably the season. Was it the season Chris Jericho was on?
I think it was season 1.
Okay.
Like years and years ago.
Yeah.
Like my mom would watch it. My mom and dad would watch it, and I watched it with them. So like,
yeah,
that's the only time I didn't even watch it because she was on it. I didn't give a fuck by that point. That was probably season 7 or 8 or something. I had long stopped watching it by then.
Yeah. But anyhow, her speech was pretty cut and dry and not really all that good.
It was just like, thank you, the fans. Thank you, the WWE Universe. Okay? Like, that's it, I guess.
Like, Tori Wilson's speech was better. Like, we said the same thing about...
Because she actually had marginal skill in the ring.
Yeah.
Not very much skill, but more skill than Stacey had.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, let's talk about the rest of the Hall of Fame.
So, up next was the late great comedian Andy Kaufman was next. He was introduced by Jerry the King Lawler, who couldn't be there in attendance in Los Angeles because he was at his home in Memphis because he was recovering from his stroke that he had like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So, Jerry looked great.
Definitely.
You could definitely tell like his speech is starting to get a little bit better.
Yep.
he definitely has that like post-stroke kind of like talking
I do have
speech, I guess. Like,
yeah.
but like it's definitely like he's definitely getting better. It was great to see him. It was short and sweet and to the point. And then Jimmy Hart came out and actually delivered the speech in person.
Yeah, and
I like that touch. That was really that was really awesome.
Because Jimmy Hart was a pretty big part of Andy Kaufman's career too. So
he was and Andy Kaufman himself. They brought out Andy Kaufman's brother, sister, his daughter, and I'm guessing that's his granddaughter who was on the far right.
Yeah, she didn't say anything.
They didn't even say anything. They didn't say anything to her, and his daughter got like fucking 10 seconds. Thank you. Like that's all I think she said was like thank you, and that was it. Like,
and not like the Chad Gable thank you, like an actual like genuine like thank you.
It was like thank you WWE. Like
that would have been awesome. That would have been awesome if she did the Chad Gable thank you. That would have been awesome. Like
I was like, wow, that was like his brother and sister had much more time to talk than she did. And I'm guessing that was his granddaughter because that would make sense because that was his daughter.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a good speech here. Obviously Jimmy Hart.
The Kaufman family talked about how like they were like fans of wrestling growing up, and they really loved how like they knew that their brother was destined to be a wrestler one day.
I think he talked about too how he he talked about too like he wanted to like be a heel too, like he always liked the heels and everything like that too. Like
he's legit like I fucking love his like misogynistic gimmick. It's so fun. It would not go over well in today's era. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, maybe an Impact because Impact.
Maybe I mean do intergender wrestling, but like the way that he like belittled women would not go over well today. I mean, all in all, it was an act. He's a showman.
Yeah,
it was an act. I don't think he hated women. Like it was an act, but it was at the time it drew a lot of heat.
It did.
He was the ladies world champion or whatever the fuck he was.
Yeah, the biggest story I think Jimmy Hart told was when like Jerry Lawler power drove him and stuff, and like he like wouldn't get out of the ring and stuff like that, and basically Lawler threatened to like beat the crap out of him if he didn't get out of the ring, and Jimmy had to like go tell him that, and like he was like out of the ring in like a second. Like obviously to the story that like Jimmy Hart told where their like car's windows got broken while they were inside them and stuff, and Andy Kaufman was just loving it and all that type of stuff. Like this was great. I loved it.
He was literally like born to be like a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
Andy Kaufman, like I think he did acting because he loved acting, but like this is the stuff that like if you go back and watch his stuff, like he's so fucking good, at getting heat. He was so fucking good at it.
I think that's everything to say about Andy Kaufman right there. It was really good stuff. I don't know why. Apparently, I went back to 2019 because it says Toy Wilson inducted by Steve. I guess Toy Wilson's a 2-time Hall of Famer now, according to my notes.
I didn't even catch that. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, isn't that great? Toy Wilson's a 2-time Hall of Famer. She went in twice.
She did. What a talent.
Yeah.
Again, actually the same time, too. They just reversed it.
Yeah. That's great. You can tell I edited my Hall of Fame 2019 notes, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah. Out next, I think I think it was Tim White.
I thought it was a great move.
I think it was either way. I'll just go by what you have, but it was Ric Flair was out next to induct into the Hall of Fame. The Great Muta. And Flair went on a tangent for like
before you talk about that. Is this when we see because they cut to Charlotte Flair here? Notice her husband. We saw a little bit of her husband right there. So.
Yeah, the husband. My husband is out there.
Yep.
I think you saw his beard. I think is all you saw.
Yep.
Of the husband. I'll say it like when Ray gets inducted. I'll like something really kind of funny happens like before. They leave, but
talk about Flair.
So Flair comes out and he talks about all the Japanese wrestlers that he wrestled,
Yeah.
And he says that the Great Muta's the greatest Japanese wrestler of all time, which I agree with. And he just went on a fucking tangent.
It was awesome.
It was like, holy shit! Like I could kind of tell why he went on a tangent. He also didn't. He also went through the ring ropes instead of going up the fucking side like everyone.
Yeah.
The way that everyone else went.
And he like tripped too, and he talked about like, "Hey, I'm not usually people hold the ropes open for me. I'm not used to doing that." Like it was just like,
yeah, because he wasn't supposed to go that way.
he just decided
to make his entrance.
And oh my god, like like he said a lot of things there. Like he was talking about how stiff like the Japanese people were, and he dropped a shit. He legit said shit like on the freaking thing. He was like, oh, like it was like,
and I was dying.
He talked about the dedication of the Japanese. He was like putting over Asuka too, doing the whole speech too. He was like, oh, he was talking about Asuka's like this great wrestler and all this, which he is. I'm just saying, he like continuously put Asuka over.
He put Asuka over like at least 3 times in his speech.
And then like I remember there's at one point where like he talks about like I better stop talking right now, or else I'm gonna get cut off by Hano again. Like he was like and then he talked about like how like he just went on this like I think we talked about I messaged you legitimately afterwards like, yep, you're not gonna see that this speech is gonna get edited and on demand. That's how much he went on like a tangent. Like it was crazy.
I didn't realize that Triple H was like out there in the crowd.
Yeah.
Until like I think it was until like Rey Mysterio's speech. Like when Rey came out. I was like, oh wait, that's why Rick was told to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Because Honda's sitting right there in the front row. I thought he was like behind the scenes. I thought he was like gorilla. But no, he was like in the front row.
Yeah.
Right next to Cody and Brandy.
Yeah.
But then he brings up the Great Muta finally after about 20 minutes.
Yeah, he went on a tangent.
He brought up the Great Muta and KG Muto doesn't speak. He speaks English, but he doesn't speak like that great of English.
Yeah.
And he said that in the speech. That he doesn't speak that great of English, but he was going to try his best. And basically said thank you. And for inducting him to the Hall of Fame. And it was, I don't remember very much the rest of it. And then he did the Mist, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah. And he came out too like with the mask and everything. Like he didn't come out like just himself on it, because there's been times
but in the Great Muta get up, not the face paint, but with the mask.
What was cool was the video package play, and they actually showed like the match that he had with Shinsuke Nakamura, like in Pro Wrestling Noah, which was insane.
Recently, in the last few months.
Yeah.
Crazy. I can't even believe it. When it was announced that he was going to go into the Hall of Fame, I was like, "Are you shitting me?"
Yeah.
Like the Great Muta? I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Of course, I didn't really watch him when I was younger, because he was like, by the time that I started watching wrestling, like to my memory, like in the beginning of the 2000s, he was already in Japan.
Yeah.
But WCW had folded, and he already moved on from WCW, and he was in Japan. So, but I've watched a lot of his fucking career. This man's an absolute fucking legend. He deserves to be in the fucking Hall of Fame. I will say this without a shadow of a doubt, and I know Ric Flair said it too. He is the greatest fucking Japanese wrestler of all time.
Yeah.
And there are some absolute fucking legends who have come from Japan, and I think the Great Muta is the best of the best.
I would agree.
He invented the fucking moonsault, the Shining Wizard.
Yep. The Mist.
The Mist. The Shining Wizard and the moonsault are still used today, to this day.
Yep.
Hurricane used the Shining Wizard. Asuka uses the Mist. Everyone uses the fucking moonsault now.
Yep.
So that's like to his credit and to his legacy, and to pay tribute to him. And when Muta came out, Asuka was marking out because that's her hero.
Yeah.
She looked up to KG Muto, the Great Muta, and to see her like celebrating and jumping up and down and being so happy, I was like, oh my god, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, she witnessed her hero go into the WWE Hall of Fame. Like that had to be like such a fucking throw for her.
Yeah.
And when he did the mist, it flashed back to Asuka, and she was going crazy.
I don't blame
I was
her.
like, oh my god, that's so fucking cool. Like, that's her hero, that's her idol, and she gets to watch him get inducted into Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, that's amazing. I loved it. He's amazing. Next we had Tim White, who was inducted by the Acolytes Protection Agency, otherwise known as the APA.
Yep.
His brothers were Tim White's brothers were out there to receive the honor of the Warrior Award. They brought up how anytime that they were in Providence, they would always shoot like wrestling scenes at the Lucky Tap,
Yeah.
which was Tim White's bar that he owned. And his brothers told a funny story that anytime that the Lucky Tap, it's Lucky Tap, needed a new wall, they just called the AP to come in and destroy it. I fucking loved it. But
Yeah.
if you go back and watch from like 99 to like 01 into 02, there's a lot of like APA bar brawls.
Definitely.
A ton of them against the New Age Outlaws, and you name it. They Edge and Christian. Like they had so many scenes there at the Lucky Tap.
Yeah.
It's a legendary spot for the WWE.
The biggest thing I was happy about, and I posted it right in the chat, I was waiting. No Dana Warrior this year. I was really happy about that. Everybody knows I'm not. I think Steve Coakley's talked about. We're not the biggest fans of Dana Warrior, so I was happy to see that she wasn't there this year. Still think that this award should be changed to the Shad Gaspard Award because but we're not going to talk about that anymore. You wouldn't believe it too. One of them, if you had told me too that it was actually Tim White, one of his brothers legitimately looks like Tim White. Like they look like they were like twins. That's how much they looked alike. Like it was insane.
And they all sounded like each other too, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. I think it was, I forget what brother was doing the speech, but like he said it just like Tim, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I was like, they are brothers for sure.
And then it was cool. So is Tim White the like first referee to be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
I know, obviously. I mean WWE Hall of Fame because I know there's been referees that's been inducted into like other Hall of Fames.
Into the other Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And the Impact Hall of Fame, whatnot. But yeah, that's the first WWE ref to be into the Hall of Fame.
So that's cool. Then we had the big one.
No, the big one, the headliner. This is shocking in so many ways. Conan presenting Rey Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the best speech of the night.
Yeah.
Conan comes out and just sings the praises of Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Talking about how close they are, which they are. And little known fact, probably not a little known fact, that's actually Dominic's godfather.
Yeah.
It's Conan. So he says that he found Rey Mysterio when he was 12 years old. And he was trying to get him booked all over the place. They wouldn't because he was obviously a fucking child.
Yeah.
But yeah, talking about wrestling in bars and whatnot. It was like, and they showed a picture of Rey when he was like, I think he was like 14 at the time. And he was like, he literally looked like a child.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Like he legitimately wrestled his first match at 14 years old.
Yeah.
Which is just fucking insane. So Conan goes on about the giving praise to Rey Mysterio, and he shits on Dominic, which I absolutely loved. He's like, I wish Rey Mysterio would adopt me and I'd become his son.
That was awesome.
because of the great person and father that he is. And they showed Dominic right after that. Dominic was pissed.
Yep.
That was so funny. I loved every bit of that. The fucking pissant deserved it. So he brings out, and he actually says Rey Mysterio Jr. But if you go back and actually like, they showed before they did the Hall of Fame segment on WrestleMania Night 2, they re-showed the video package and they cut the Junior part out.
Yeah.
So he just says Rey Mysterio, which is bizarre why they would cut the Junior part out.
Yeah.
But so Ray comes out getting adulation as he should. Just a great person, father, human being. Love Ray. Fucking deserves this honor. He comes out, and before, like, he gets about halfway down, and Dominic is just staring a hole through his father. Just staring at him. And everyone's standing up, but the Judgment Day. Conveniently enough, you know who's missing? Buddy Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was hilarious. Because I was like, wait a minute. When they showed them earlier, you could see Buddy was with Rhea, because they're dating in real life. They were sitting together.
They were.
And then conveniently, when they show Ray coming down the ramp to go to the ring for his speech, who's missing? Buddy Murphy.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
It was Dom, Rhea, and then Damian Priest. And so Ray,
so they probably
up Triple H and everyone else that was there.
Yeah.
And they probably told Buddy to get out of the camera, honestly. Like,
they probably like switched Buddy out like during Conan's speech is what I had to guess.
Yeah.
Like right before like Ray came out and everything like that. Like,
so he goes like slaps 5 with everyone. He goes down, gets in the ring, gives Conan a hug, and then before he can even start his speech, that little fucking piss ant, fucking no good fucking piece of shit son and his stupid little cronies get up and leave.
Yeah, they did.
They talk about his career because he's such a selfish, arrogant prick.
I agree.
And, so Ray looks disappointed. But he says he's going to save that for WrestleMania, his beating that he's going to give his son. He talks about his career. He talks about, how much he loves his kids, his wife. And they mentioned that he's known Angie since he was 14. And she actually came to his first match, which is honestly fucking adorable that they've been together since he was like 14. But his speech was awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There couldn't have been a greater person and ambassador for WWE to go into the Hall of Fame other than maybe Titus O'Neil, but then Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
He's a fucking hero to many young, luchadors and Hispanic people around the world. The Latinos look up to him and adore him. Absolutely love the guy. He's been one of my favorites since he debuted. And to see him with this honor, he said he wants to wrestle till 50, which is next year. He's going to be 50 next December. When the time comes, I know for a fact I don't want to see him go because he can still go in that ring. And again, it proved it at WrestleMania. Yes. That he still has a lot of tread left on those tires. A lot. To see him go in was great. Love the guy. He's awesome. That's all. That's it.
So Conan's speech was great. I mean, they talked about like how Rey Mysterio really turned things around for Lucha Libre in America, which he really did. He's like one of the first big signings.
Pioneer.
Yeah. They talked about how his first match in WCW, he wrestled Dean Malenko. They mentioned he was there, but they never showed Dean Malenko. I don't know if they can because he's a big producer in AEW and stuff, so that's probably why they didn't show him.
He also too has Parkinson's now, so I'm not sure they want to really show him. Even if he probably was there, but even if he was working for WWE, I just don't think they'd show him anyway.
Yeah, but then. So Yeah, he did. He had this really good speech. He came out with this like really cool mask. I'm pretty sure too, because if you remember, he was on SmackDown like earlier in the show. I think it was like a golden mask and everything like that. Like it was really well made and everything like that.
Yeah, he had an
And
actual for him.
they talked about like
his mask designer. Was they had like a little video.
yeah.
If I'm handing the mask and everything, he's been doing his mask for years.
And then they talked about he talked about like his struggles like in the business and everything like that. I love that he mentioned too. This was great because he accidentally in a way added to the feud with Dominic that he took a year off of wrestling when Aaliyah was born, but not when Dominic was born, not when he was born.
Yeah, because fuck him.
That was great right there. The fact that he like did that. I thought they were gonna do something important. Yeah. I thought they were gonna do something like at the very end where like Dominic was gonna come because they had Conan out there the whole time. Like I know like they had other inductees and stuff like stay out there, but it wasn't like Conan stood in the ring the whole time. Right? Like they kept showing Conan like on camera like while Wade was talking and everything like
yeah.
That, so I thought they'd do something like at the end where Dom would attack, not obviously do anything crazy to Conan because I know Conan can't do anything crazy and everything, but I thought he'd like attack Conan or something. They may do that tonight since Raw tonight's still in Los Angeles.
Yeah. They could.
And obviously they could smoke and music because they can do like backstage and things like that. So, but yeah, that was a really good speech. It's just crazy that he's going into and he's like still gonna wrestle. Because I know there's been other wrestlers that have gone in like that were like full timers and that still wrestled. But Ray's like the first one that was like full. So I know Flair technically was full time, but he was like retiring, but then the next day anyways and stuff like that. So Ray's like the first like one that's gonna go in that's still gonna wrestle like full time
Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I loved it.
So I know they say Kurt was full time, but he really wasn't full time.
He wasn't full time. I mean, was he full time WWE on screen talent? Yeah, because he was GM. But he wasn't like full time wrestler.
Yeah. But that was the Hall of Fame. I liked it a lot. I'm gonna give it an A. I think obviously it doesn't get an A plus because of Stacy Keibler's speech and things like that. But I enjoyed it. I couldn't believe how short it was.
Yeah,
because
I thought too.
I talked about this off camera and stuff. So I haven't watched the Hall of. Well, I guess I watched the Taker one, but I didn't watch that. I couldn't watch that one live. But I haven't. I forget that the speeches are shorter now because I'm so used to. I remember what year it was. The year that Warrior and stuff went in. That show went like I think that show was like 7 hours almost. Especially if you watch the red carpet. I like that the red carpet's not long anymore. I remember like the red carpet's cool to watch, but they'd be like they would say like they would interview people and they would like basically they would say the same things after a while and everything like that. Like I'm like so
yeah, it's way too fucking it was way too fucking long. So I appreciate the shorter Hall of Fame.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go through now NXT Stand and Deliver. And I gotta say, I hate to say this. This show was really good. And I hate to say that because NXT sucks every week. But somehow they pulled out we made jokes about it last night over Messenger and stuff like that. I wonder if Shawn Michaels knew that Triple H was there. So he actually booked a good show. Maybe he knew that Triple H was going to kind of fuck up in the main event. So he's like, okay, no matter what I do here, everyone's going to forget about what I do tonight. So he was like trying to outdo Triple H. Because let's be real. Even though we didn't love the main event. It came off better. Shawn Michaels did his main event better probably than Triple H did at the end of the day, which is weird to think of.
Yeah.
But let's go through the show. We had the pre-show. It was really weird because it aired at 1:00. I know wrestling shows now have been on in the afternoon, but I'm never actually able to watch them, as you know, because we usually go on like a vacation or like we do something that day. So I usually have to watch it later in the day anyways. This is like the first time I've watched wrestling like in the afternoon. So it felt kind of weird watching wrestling in the afternoon. I don't know. Do you still feel that way? Like, do you still feel that way? Because I know you've watched like Clash. I know you've watched the shows live, anyways. Like in the but did it feel weird for you watch it? Does it still feel weird to you like watch wrestling like in the afternoon? Or you just used
A
to it
little
now
bit.
at this
It's
point?
like I'm kind of used to it, but like it did feel a little bit weird because it has been a while since we've had an afternoon show.
Especially too because you're gonna watch WrestleMania like later in the day too. Like
Yeah.
But yeah, we had the pre-show. The hosts, I believe, were Dave Cuman and Peter Rosenberg. So I actually didn't see the beginning of the pre-show because I like just gotten out of the shower, and it was like 2 minutes after the fact. I know Peter Rosenberg was mainly the host, but like but there was other people that came in and out doing the hosting duties and all that type of stuff. So I think it's people that like worked in the broadcast booth, like that Peter Rosenberg, except for like one person, I think, which we'll talk about that person later. But yeah, I thought everyone on the panel on that came and hosted did a relatively good job, except for maybe like one person, and we're gonna get to that later, Chris.
Yeah.
And then we had the commentary team of Booker T and Vic Joseph, because there actually was a match this time on the pre-show, which
It's been a long fucking time since there's been an actual match on the pre-show.
Of any wrestling, of any like WWE show, anyways. The last one I remember, I think, was Clash at the Castle, but it was like Theory and Chut, in Alpha Academy. I think it was versus the Street Profits and like Madcap Moss or something. But I don't. I think that's still a while. Like
yeah. And I will say this too about this pre-show. It might be the last time we see Rip Fowler and Jagger Reed.
We'll talk about that in a second. Commentary team, like we said, was Booker T and Vic Joseph. They showed video packages for everybody in the that was going to be in the ladder match. Tiffany Stratton had one, but it was very grand. She was dressed up like she was going to the Walk of Fame and stuff like that, talking about she's going to be a big superstar. Andy Howell did a video package talking about how she's waited for this moment her entire life and is going to make the most of it. Zoe Starks did one saying that everybody else is nervous because they know that I'm going to win the ladder match. I thought Zoe Starks, to be honest, had like the worst video package out of everybody. Then the family, then the family cut a promo. It shows them training. It looks like they're at like the zoo, and they're talking about winning the NXT tag titles. And then the Creed brothers, it just shows them like training like at the beach or something, like doing like gut wrench suplex stuff and all that type of stuff. And then Gallus, at the ball training and all that type of stuff, drinking and stuff, talking about stuff. And then Kaz Offman and the other guy, they come up and give their thoughts on NXT. Lyra Valkyria has a cool promo. I think this is like the same one they had on Tuesday where she talks about how she's going to win the ladder match. Roxanne Perez does a promo like on the at the mountains, talking about how this is like the biggest moment of her career. What do you think of all those promos right there? All of them, every single one.
They're promos.
There you go. Then we had the first match on the show. It was Chase University and Tyler Bate versus Schism, where the winners gain control of Chase University. Well, I guess the winners get because that's what it says on Wikipedia, but we should say the winners are in control of Chase University, because technically Chase U already have control of Chase University.
Yes.
So, I don't know why Wikipedia wrote it that way, but basically the winner will be in control of Chase University. This was pretty good stuff. Tyler Bate and they did this thing where we didn't really know who was going to start the match. Everyone just kind of kept tagging in and out and all that type of stuff, and eventually it's decided that it's going to be Zach Gibson and Tyler Bate. They start going at it with each other. They did some good stuff, referencing their old NXT UK days. And then Ava and Thea Hale tag in, and Ava just immediately tags out to James Drake, and he goes at it with Duke Hudson. And then eventually it's Thea Hale and Ava tag in. Ava just kicks Thea Hale's ass. She does a lot of power moves onto Thea Hale. I didn't really think her power moves looked all that impressive. And then, they had, I'll just say this, Ava did way too much in this match. She was not ready to be in the ring as long as she was. And then the heels get the heat. Tyler Bate for a while, which that made sense because I think Tyler Bate's probably the best wrestler in the match, so it made sense that he was in the match the longest. I thought Joe Gacy and Ava win this match way too much. They should have just kept it to the Grizzled Young Veterans, which they did eventually at the end. But I thought Joe Gacy was in this match way too much. And then eventually, Andre Chase gets the hot tag. They do this cool bit where he spells out where everybody just spells out their names at each other. Everybody starts doing dives on each other and stuff. They did a cool callback to Mustache Mountain where Andre Chase and Tyler Bate did like their tag finisher that they used to do in NXT UK, which was awesome. Then we had the moment where I think you and I were ready to rant because everybody just kind of stops after they've done all these crazy moves and things like that. And Joe Gacy pulls out a Schism t-shirt, and Duke Hudson puts on the t-shirt, and it looks like he's joined Schism. He's turned his back on Chase U. However, it was a trap. He rips off the t-shirt, and Chase U attack and Tyler Bate, because I forget he's not technically in Chase U, attack Schism. They beat him up, and then eventually everybody hits cool dives on each other. And Tyler Bate, Andre Chase and Duke Hudson hit their tag finisher, where it's like a goalie bomb special into a pay dirt for the win. And Chase U and Tyler Bate actually win this match. I thought this match was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good 8-man. They did a really good near fall where it looked like Tyler Bate was going to lose because he got hit with that lariat by Joe Gacy. But yeah, this match was pretty good. I give it 3.25 stars. It's probably like a 3-star match, but I gave it an extra quarter because they didn't break up Chase U. They actually kept them together. What do you think of this?
I thought this match was very good. I thought for sure Chase U was going to break up. Shockingly, they didn't.
Yeah.
I'll give Shawn Michaels that he actually kept the stable together. But I like this match. Like I was like, oh, here we go. Here's the turn for Duke. I kind of knew he wasn't gonna do it, just by the way that it was set up that way. I was like, okay, he's not turning. So
yeah,
it was kind of. It was kind of obvious at that point that he wasn't turning. Then he just beats the shit out of him, and they celebrate together. And yeah, I like the match.
Yeah,
and Jagger Reed and Rip Fowler, formerly known as James Drake, and Zach Gibson, have officially requested their release.
Yeah, I don't blame them, to be honest.
They haven't been doing anything.
Yeah, they weren't really. I would have preferred they could have found another way. Like they just go to the main roster. They'd be perfect first opponents for the new tag champs we'll talk about later in the show. Especially they could do some really good. Then again, who knows how long they're gonna hold the tag titles now, considering what happened in the main event. Yeah, I enjoyed. I feel bad for them. They did ask for their release. They could go to AEW and be pretty successful because they can fill the FTR role if FTR lose on Wednesday, where they were like the heel tag team and stuff. I like to see them at Impact. I think they'd be really good at Impact. Especially I would love to see them versus Motor City Machine Guns, or them versus the Bullet Club, which was the Chris Bay, Ace Austin. They'd be great.
For sure.
I would like to see them on the indies get because the thing is too that I think they realize a lot of people recently haven't seen them as the Grizzled Young Veterans. They only know them as the Schism versions of themselves now. So I think they need to get that sync off of them for a little bit and go travel the indies. Zach Gibson's gonna be reincarnated now, by the way. He's not gonna look like a zombie anymore. That's gonna be awesome. That's great.
Let's go zombie.
Unless he just becomes a zombie from ECW, and he comes out and goes, but anyhow, yeah. If you notice, Joe Gacy is a string of bad luck when you're in NXT because it seems like if you get paired with him, you get like released like within like a few months. So Ava better be worried for her career. How funny is that, by the way? Now, that the team that we thought was going to break up didn't break up, and the team that's breaking up is because two of the tag guys in the team asked for their releases and stuff. It's like, I wonder if Shawn Michaels realized he kind of has to have Chase U win here because he paid, because there's no point in having Schism win now because now I know what you're thinking. Shawn Michaels actually did something right here. I know I'm going to try to be positive since this was actually a really good show. We still have Tuesday, after WrestleMania. Well, after another for them Stand and Deliver, and they like to do surprises after Stand and Deliver. They could definitely still break them up. Don't just assume that because Shawn Michaels is going to go back to his old ways on Tuesday. You know that, Chris. You know that he could still break them up on Tuesday.
He could still do that.
So don't just assume that. Which I hope they don't. Because they need teams in the tag division, but Shawn Michaels doesn't like tag teams, so it's not like that's going to change. But anyhow, that was still a pretty good match, though. I enjoyed it. Then they do a weird thing. I've been told. I talked to you about this. I was on Instagram and I noticed that. That's not how I noticed. So, they brought in Denise Salcedo. I always think it's funny they put her in because she's like she works very closely with Fightful and Wrestling Observer and stuff like that. Mainly the F4W like portion of it, but F4W is like basically Wrestling Observer. So it's always kind of funny when they bring her in, and she kind of took over. She was like one of the hosts with Petey Rosenberg where they talked about the ladder match. I didn't think she was all that good here because you could tell the information, the thoughts she was given on the ladder match was not genuine at all. You could tell that I think because some of the stuff she said, like she talked about like how Lyra Valkyria, hasn't really done much in NXT, but she's looking to make a name for herself. She tried talking about like the storylines, and you could just tell that they were not genuine thoughts like that she would have said if she just went on her own podcast and did it or something like that.
Yeah.
But then I noticed something. I'm like, wait, because I follow Mackenzie Mitchell on Instagram, and I noticed that she just took a picture like at the pool saying, "This is how I'm watching NXT tonight." And I'm like, wait a minute here, why are you leaving Mackenzie Mitchell? She works for you. That didn't even make any sense because
it didn't.
We find out later they didn't do any interviews really on the show, but still she could have come in and like done one of the hosts because she's been a host before and the NXT pre-shows and stuff. It just didn't make any sense. Why would you bring somebody in that doesn't work for you versus someone that works for you that's under your payroll? And to be honest, I think her reactions would have been much more genuine and things like that. So at first I was thinking maybe she's going to ring announce WrestleMania Night 1 because she's been doing a lot of the ring announcing on the live tours and stuff. I thought they were gearing her up for that, but that doesn't. We find out that doesn't happen. So I don't get why they brought in Denise Salcedo instead of Mackenzie Mitchell. Do you have anything you want to say about that? Because that just didn't make any sense to me.
It is what it is now. It doesn't bother me. I didn't really watch the pre-show anyway.
But yeah, they show video packages for Gigi Dolan and Roxanne, and Pretty Deadly. I think Pretty Deadly just kind of talk about how they're the host of NXT, and then Gigi Dolan talk about how she's going to win the ladder match. And then Gigi Dolan, Indy Hartwell, and Zoe Starks, I believe, have like their entrance like during the pre-show. And I mentioned this because I was like, wait a minute. I don't think I think you mentioned it actually. And you were like, I don't think Indy Hartwell got an entrance. And I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, I don't think so. And then Steve Coakley mentioned, no, it happened. I saw it. And I was like, I don't think she got an entrance. If that, it was so fast. So then before I watched WrestleMania, I like looked, and she got an entrance. It's just so quick. They cut right back to Peter Rosenberg and Denise Salcedo. You don't even know the entrance happened. It's really fast. But anyhow, that was the pre-show. I thought it was a decent pre-show. It definitely helped that there was a match on it, so at least you felt worthy watching the pre-show.
Yeah.
But going through the actual show itself, we had the intro video package where it was just pretty deadly, like breaking down the matches. I think if they just took the video packages they did on Tuesday and just put them here. Then we had the ladder match for the NXT Women's Championship. It was Roxanne Perez defending against Zoe Stark, Gigi Dolan, Tiffany Stratton, Lyra Valkyria, and Indy Hardwell. How ironic is it, by the way, Chris? Because we'll talk about one of them later. That we thought we were like all worried about this ladder match because we thought someone was going to get a bad injury because they don't have experience really. A lot of the women don't have experience in general, but they don't really have experiences being in the ladder matches and stuff like that. However, the ladder match where a bad injury happened was the ladder match where there was all these people with experiences and things like that. And then the injury happened that happens later wasn't even in a ladder match. So there probably could have been an injury here. We just haven't heard about it yet because there's been so much news going on recently. We'll probably hear about it like tomorrow when NXT, is actually on the air and things like that. I won't go through exactly everything that happens here, but everybody starts brawling with each other. They do this cool thing where Gigi Dolan hits like a power bomb while there's a ladder set up, bridge across the announce table on into the ring. Roxanne Perez hits pop blocks in the match. Who is it? Indy Hardwell hits like a suplex while there's a ladder on the outside onto Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark hits a cool finisher. That's pretty damn awesome. We had a lot of dives in the match, a lot of superplexes and things like that. That was cool. This really great ladder match. You really just have to go watch it for yourselves. Eventually, they do a really unsafe thing where Tiffany Stratton is on the ladder and the ladder gets tipped over. And she's supposed to land onto like everybody on the outside. However, she completely misses. I think she was a little bit too. She was a little too close to the ring, not close enough to the people. So I think she probably got injured in the match, not probably like a bad back injury, but probably like if you remember the injury that like Montez Ford got when he was supposed to do like a dive on Seth Rollins and he like missed that. That was probably the same injury that happened, except she was higher and stuff like that. That was probably the biggest injury that happened in the match. But yeah, just a great ladder match here. Just you really have to go watch this match for yourself to watch all the spots and everything like that. Eventually, it's just down to Indy Hardwell. She's there by herself, and she got her shoulder injured in the match, and she can't climb the ladder. So who comes out? None other than Dexter Lumis. And he stands underneath her, and he puts his thumb up, and he helps her climb the ladder, and she grabs the title and becomes the new NXT Women's Champion. I think everybody was surprised about this because, as we call her, she's the typical jobber every week. The fact that she just came in here and won the ladder match was awesome. I would have liked, obviously, for her to be built up to it a little bit more and things like that, but it was still really awesome stuff. I give the ladder match 4.25 stars. I give it an extra quarter for seeing the reunion of Index. That was awesome. What did you think of this?
I thought this match was great. The Tiffany Stratton thing was weird. Like at the end was it could have been avoidable, but I definitely don't like. I mean, the spots like that happen, but they didn't catch her properly. But Index reuniting was awesome. When Dexter came into the ring, he came in a very precarious position, I might say the least.
That is his wife, so that is his wife. Give him a break. That is his wife.
He had his head in between her legs, facing upward.
That is his wife, though, so he's allowed to do that.
Then he helped her climb the ladder. I liked that too. Yeah, I liked it. It was a really good match. Way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Again, what'd you give it as like a style rating, by the way?
4.
And what did you give? Did you give the kickoff match a style rating?
I'll give it 3.
But yeah, I liked this a lot though. They're probably gonna set up a match between Zoe Stark and Indy Hot like mentioned at the end of the match that like she beat Indy Hartwell, so they're probably gonna do like that match on NXT. I don't think it'll be like on a special episode or anything like that. I think it would just be a match that happens on NXT for the belt, which would make the most sense. They're probably gonna have, huh?
It would make the most sense.
But yeah, we should just talk about it. And Roxanne Perez's title reign kind of sucked. Like it was really bad, to be honest. Not that the matches were bad or anything like that, but her booking was not good at all. Like doing the title reign or anything like that. I do wonder because we did talk about whatever the situation that's going on with Roxanne Perez, if it's worse than we think that it is, because obviously she was off TV for a few weeks and then dropped the title here. So I wonder if that's what happened here. Maybe
That could have been it.
Maybe though, she's getting called up tonight. Maybe they're gonna pull the trigger because I think she's ready for the main roster. Honestly, she did really well when she was on the main roster, like back in the fall. So I think she could do well on the main roster because I feel like too that she needs to get away from NXT because those storylines have just been really bad. And she's about to have a thing where she can't deal with an anxiety storyline. Yeah, let's get you away from NXT for a second. And I think, because she's about the same age that Paige was when she got called up. I think she's like the exact same age. I think she's a little younger than Paige because she just turned 21 like fairly recently. I think it was like right after she won the belt. But yeah, I'm excited about that. But we'll see. Then we have the NXT Tag Team title match. It was Gallus defended against the Creed brothers with Ivy Nile inside, defended against the Family. So I will say one thing. If you believe Shawn Michaels hates tag teams, this show definitely is evidence of that because none of the tag matches deliver on this show. And I don't really think they were set up for success on this show because no one cared about this match. The crowd was dead because they just saw that fantastic ladder match. And then, this match was very dull. No one really delivered in this match. I honestly think it's on the Family's fault. I don't really think you could definitely see Tony D's not that good in the ring. He was very slow in this match. And then Stacks was fine, but but a lot of the stuff he did in the match, he did like double team moves with Tony D, and they just didn't look good at all. This match was just a big clusterfuck. The biggest spot in the match that they planned out, they probably tried this thousands of times, was they went to do like the Tower of Doom spot. The what's the name of that finisher that the Legion of Doom used to do? The 2-man, what's it called?
The Devastation device.
Yeah. Julius Creed went to do like the Cannonball version of it.
Oh, that was terrible.
And he completely missed. He
went too far to the side.
Yeah. And
he didn't want to hit them. And like kind of because they were holding onto the ropes, like being safe. Yeah. But like he didn't even Brutus didn't even come close.
But yeah, eventually, Gallus win via Joe Coffey interference. He finally returns here. He screws over. I think he screwed over the Family. I think they were about to win the belts.
Yeah.
And then
they pulled him out and he hit him with like a clothesline, I think.
And then Gallus won the match. I give it like 2. I liked the return of Joe Coffey, but this match was not a good follow-up. It was very flat and just very clunky. What did you think?
I even said at the time, like in the chat, I'm like, wow, this is like a really bad match.
Yeah.
Which is surprising because all the teams in that match are relatively good.
Yeah.
Like the Creed brothers are awesome. Gallus is good. And Tony D and Stacks are a pretty good team themselves too. Even though they don't team up a whole lot. But something felt off in this match.
Yeah.
It felt slow. It felt clunky. But yeah, like it just didn't. Nothing flowed in this match.
Yeah. What'd you give us a star, Aiden?
I'll give it like 2 stars.
I have a feeling if Joe Coffey didn't return, it'd be lower.
Yeah, I mean Gallus. Like, where the fuck has Joe Coffey even been?
I know.
Like
So I hope they have big plans for him because I don't know what they could do with him. Maybe I'd like to see him face Wes Lee for the North American title. That'd be fun.
That'd be awesome. Or Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, because I think Hayes is might be a face now. I'm not even sure. But
Yeah.
next we had a video package for Cora Jade. I thought there was going to be like a return video package. That's why I put it in my notes. But it's like one of those. I think it was one of those things where
It's a peacock one.
yeah. So that we didn't really get much.
It didn't even make. I was like, oh, this might be a Cora Jade return video package because she's been injured for a little while, and like, nope,
it was just the
same thing.
Yeah. Then we had Pretty Deadly backstage. They try to get a word with Blonde Breaker, but they're too afraid to, pretty much. So they just decide to call it off. What do you think of this? I thought they were a bunch of pussies here. Like they were. Like, yeah.
Fucking pussies.
Then we had a great match right here. It was Wesley defending his North American Championship against Dragon Lee. I have to say it now, JD McDonough, Ilya Dragunov,
and here we go.
And Axiom.
At least you're not calling me a kid.
Huh?
At least you're not calling him a kid. I'll take that.
Well, as we know, it's been confirmed. Axiom and A-Kid are two different people, so I don't have a choice. So
yeah, you don't have a choice. That is true.
But yeah, this match was fantastic. Like, it was everything I wanted it to be. The crowd went that into this match in the beginning because there's like a bit where like JD McDonough is like dominating the match, like he's just taking everybody out. The crowd's not really into that. Once that kind of stops, the match just goes on a whole different level. Basically, like everybody gets the signature moves in, everybody gets the shit in, and that's basically what the match was. Just a bunch of dives, and it was just great stuff here. Like everybody looked like a star in this match, and it was just a great match. I really wish. Honestly, I was watching this too. This really, with the way they were doing everything, this really should have been the ladder match on this show. Because I thought everybody would have looked great in the show. At one point, Ilya Dragunov gets cut open the hard way because they all did like, I think it was like him and like three other. I think it was like Dragon Lee and I think it was Wesley. All hit big boots on JD McDonough. And I think he took like the blunt of one of those boots because I think he was like cut open the hard way after that. But yeah, this match was just insane. Like this is one of those matches you can't even break down spot by spot. Like, you have to go watch it yourself. Eventually the finish was awesome where Ilya Dragunov hits the running like uppercut out of the corner. I think he hit that on like I think he hit it on JD McDonough. And then at the same time that happens, Wesley hits like his backflip into an Enzuigiri on Ilya Dragunov, and he gets the win from that. It was like such a cool finish. I gave it like 4.5 stars. This match was awesome.
I gave it 4.5 stars too. This match is just great. You just gotta go and watch it. Go out of your way to watch it. This is a go out of your way to watch it type of match.
Yeah.
Terrific.
And Wesley won. He didn't pin Dragon Lee, so I think we're getting the battle with the Lees pretty damn soon. So I'm happy about that.
The Leers.
Then Pretty Deadly's backstage again. They try to get a word with Carmelo Hayes, but they're too afraid of him. So eventually they decide to call it off, but Trick William comes out and he's upset with them because Carmelo Hayes is trying to get ready for his match and he's got headphones on and he can still hear them. That you don't cross that type of line. If you could still hear somebody even though you got headphones on, you got a problem right there.
Yeah, you did.
So he tells them that he's gonna win the championship tonight and he's always got a plan. And then Pretty Deadly are happy because they felt like that they did their jobs as hosts. So what did you think of this? I thought this was good, and I'm glad that Pretty Deadly actually like did something meaningful on this show. They actually like accomplished something. They felt good about themselves. What did you think of this?
I feel like Pretty Deadly accomplished what they needed to accomplish.
They kind of ruin it later, but you know that we have to look at the present right now as this happens. But they did what they needed to do.
That they certainly did.
Then we had the unsanctioned match. It was Johnny Gargano versus Grayson Waller. I don't know why this wasn't the main event. I know Steve tried to say like that because Carmelo Hayes was winning, they wanted to get him over and stuff. But this really should have main evented. One, if you have an unsanctioned match, typically it should be the main event of the show. It doesn't really make sense if it's not because they say the whole thing is like NXT is not responsible for what happens. It's kind of weird to have like an unsanctioned match and then like it's like the real show afterwards. It's like, oh, that didn't count. That wasn't really the show. Like, what's going on here? What are you talking about?
Guess so.
And then I just thought this match like delivered. It was just such a good match that like no other match could follow this. I will admit the crowd will into the main event a little bit. The next match that happens after this though, the crowd could have cared less about because of how great this match was.
Oh yeah, this match was fucking fantastic.
Grayson Waller was on Instagram Live doing his entrance. Did you try to get him? Did you go on Instagram Live and try to get his attention?
Nah, not this time.
No, you actually let him get a pass this time.
Yeah, I know.
I tried this time. He didn't really respond to me this time. And a funny thing that happened is Peacock and Instagram Live were way fucking off.
Oh, they're way off.
I think it's worse than like USA Network when he says the Grayson Waller effect there. Like I think that's why he hasn't been like going live when he's done like the Grayson Waller effect lately because of how off it is. Like
it's wicked off.
Yeah. You know what's weird too, by the way. I was gonna tell you when we were messaging yesterday and stuff. I think you're a little behind me somehow, which doesn't even make sense because we're on the same fucking Peacock. I guess because my wife, because I have to wait till like you react to something to like actually react to it. So like when Tim White's family came out, I had to wait like a couple of seconds to be like, oh, he really does look like Tim White. Like so I don't know how that even happened. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's just your internet or whatever.
Yeah, I get to see things before you though. So if Matt Cardona returns,
no, you're not.
I am spoiling that shit for you tonight.
Fucking not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're fucking not. I will fucking end your life if you do that. No more pizza for you, man.
I can get pizza on my own. I got pizza on my own this weekend. I don't need you to get pizza. So
no pizza for you. You go to bed without pizza.
But yeah, this match was fantastic. Johnny Gargano just beats. He had a cool entrance too. Like it showed his past in NXT, which this clearly meant this. I think this is definitely his last match, like in NXT. I don't think it's like,
easily.
And he just beats the shit out of Grayson Waller in like the beginning portions of this matchup. He just destroys him. And he tries to powerbomb him through the table, but Grayson Waller luckily escapes. He grabs some weapons. He's trying to win a match. Like he had to get space in there.
Pussy. What a pussy.
He hits the slingshot spear onto Grayson Waller. He beats him up with a trash can, and he goes to hit a suicide dive, and they do the WrestleMania 24 Royal Rumble 2001 ladder match spot where Grayson Waller has a trash can lid, and he hits Johnny Gargano with the trash can lid. This one looked a little bit more safer than those ones, though, because like Gargano, you could tell had his hands up at least and all that type of stuff. It wasn't like unprotected and stuff like that.
Should have been.
Why you want Grayson Waller to beat up Johnny Gargano that bad? Like, yeah. Then
make Grayson, it look
good. Grayson Waller starts destroying Gargano. He suplexes him onto the outside. He stacks up a stack of steel chairs. And he continuously tries to suplex Gargano onto him, but eventually Gargano hits a superplex from the apron to the outside, and he lands onto the stack of steel chairs. And then I believe Grayson Waller does the he goes for the elbow drop, but no, Gargano tries to go for the elbow drop, but Grayson Waller like moves. Like he tries to go for something like off of the turnbuckle, but Grayson Waller like moves out of the way when there's a table set up, and Grayson Waller like power bombs him through the announce table, which was awesome. Of course he did. And then eventually Grayson Waller's in control. He's just talking shit to Johnny Gargano and his family because Candice Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano's son. And there was some other person that was out there that was like with Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano. That there's like a relation there or something, but they never explained like how they were related. But they like know each other because they were like sitting next to each other and they were like talking to each other.
A non-wrestling friend.
But yeah, Grayson Waller's just beating up Gargano, and eventually Gargano starts mounting a comeback, and oh my gosh. Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae just beat the shit out of Grayson Waller with a kendo stick. Like his back gets cut open like bad.
Oh,
like
that was brutal.
But you love that. I know you love that though.
Every fucking bit of it.
He just got fucking whooped. And
every second of it. That little bitch deserved it.
Gargano locks him into the Gargano escape, but Grayson Waller thumbs him in the eyes to get out of it.
Fucking cheater.
It's an ODQ. You can't cheat in an ODQ.
Fucking
match.
Cheater.
And technically, Gargano was cheating before that because he's having somebody else.
He was doing it out of necessity.
So what if Grayson Waller did that? That wouldn't be necessity.
It would be cheating.
And eventually, Grayson Waller takes back control, and he powerbombs Gargano again through the announcer's table, just like he did all that time ago. There's that one point, by the way, like earlier in the match, where like Grayson Waller was talking shit to Vic Joseph, and then this is when Gargano tackles him over the announce table, and Booker T like lost his headset. You could tell Booker T was like pissed that he lost. I think
he was so mad
because he got like he didn't get injured or anything like that, but like I think he got like a little bit of like a hip like injury or something because like he was so pissed about it too. Like I think it took him a second to get Liz Baywitz about him.
Joseph was like, "Book you right?" He's like, "No, I'm not all right."
He was pissed. But yeah, the match continues. Grayson Waller does the flip like input your face buster onto Gargano onto a chair, but Gargano kicks out of it. And then eventually Johnny Gargano low blows Grayson Waller, wears him out with a steel chair. He puts the chair around his neck and hits Grayson Waller with another chair while there's that chair around his neck. And then Gargano hits the Gargano escape, and Grayson Waller immediately taps out. And Johnny Gargano,
because he's a bitch.
Johnny Gargano wins, and afterwards, the way we form Dexter Lumis, Indy Hartwell, and Candice LeRae, they all celebrate together. And this was awesome. So this made more sense why Indy Hartwell won the NXT Women's title, so that way she could come celebrate with Johnny Gargano. I mean, we didn't get a full way reunion because obviously we didn't have Austin Theory, the son, out there and stuff like that. But, you know, maybe if they had, as you know, from the NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver Retro, maybe if they had had that pizza out there, Austin Theory would have been out there. Because as you know, Austin Theory loves pizza. He was eating like several slices when Mackenzie Mitchell and Alicia Taylor ordered it. So I wonder if he's like gotten over that problem, though. I wonder if he
probably not.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know. We haven't seen him eating any pizza lately. So
no, he probably pizza fasting.
That's right. But this match was 5 stars. It was fantastic. Should have main evented, but this was still fantastic. What did you think of this match?
I thought this match was great. This match was awesome. This match was fantastic. It just it was an amazing match, and that cocky, arrogant motherfucker got the shit beaten out of him like he should have.
Yep.
Because fuck him. That's why.
So what do you give it as like a star rating?
My star rating, 5.
There you go. Now is that extra star because Grayson Waller got the shit kicked out of him?
Yes.
I don't blame you.
And partially because it's one of the best like hardcore matches I've seen in forever.
Yeah. I mean, Gargano really does know how to do these hardcore matches. So, and Grayson Waller does too. We have to give him some credit. I don't even want to give him any credit.
Nope,
right now.
No credit. No credit.
Yeah, like in kayfabe at the moment, you want to stay in kayfabe, but when we get off camera, you'll give him some credit.
No, I'm not gonna give him any credit.
He's
not gonna get any credit until he responds to me on Instagram.
And then what if he does?
Then he's gonna get credit.
So good credit. Now, is it gonna be good? Is it gonna be good? Is it gonna be good credit or bad credit?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Okay. Now, is this good credit and bad credit like in the bank account type of thing, or is this good credit and bad credit like in Chris Dodd's like mind type of thing?
In my mind,
And then, what's like good credit in your mind?
being a good boy,
And then what's bad credit? The opposite.
being very mean.
Maybe we'll do a video one day, and I can ask you like who has good credit with you right now and who has bad credit with you right now. I know one person has got bad credit with you right now, and that's Triple H at the moment. So he's.
I didn't want to hear that man's name.
But anyhow, next.
More in like later.
Yeah, probably in like maybe like an hour and a half.
Yeah, because a lot to go through.
We have Tony D and Stacks backstage.
Tony
Huh?
Tony Dick.
No, Tony D'Angelo. Yeah, Tony D'Angelo. I wonder if Tony D'Angelo owned D'Angelo's at one point, and that's why he went bank. And that's why he went bank. I wonder if it went bankrupt because it was like he was using that. He was using what he did in the criminal world to like. He was putting like that money into like his businesses and stuff, and that's why we don't have some D'Angelo's anymore. So,
you're gonna blame him for it.
I mean, it only makes sense, right? But anyhow, they're upset they lost the tag title match. Stacks feels like he let down Tony D, but Tony D tells him not to worry about it. And then Pretty Deadly come in and want their reaction to it. And Tony D and Stacks take exception to this. Huh?
They're pieces of shit. Let the guys grieve. They just lost.
So this leads to a match getting set up at NXT tomorrow night. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, I liked it. I thought the match will be good. And we'll do predictions for it later. Then it's sort of video package. You want to talk about this video package right here for Nikita Lyons? It was again. This was a Peacock thing anyway, so we can't blame NXT for this one.
It's the same fucking stupid thing every week. It's the same stupid video package. Make people want to miss her. It makes me never want to see her ever again.
Yeah. Then we had the NXT Women's Tag Team title match. These are the most pointless belts I think that have ever been created in the history of like professional wrestling. I know you can say, well, what about the 24/7 title? That was at least created for ratings and stuff like that. These belts were created because of COVID, pretty much. As I talked about in the Stand and Deliver Takeover 2021 retro. It's Fallon Henley and Kiana James defending against Kaylee Ray and Isla Dawn. I was lucky here, Chris, because I copied this from Wikipedia, so this doesn't count. It says the other name in here, but I didn't actually say it on recording, so there's no evidence that I ever screwed up.
Wait, what's the name?
Kaylee Ray.
That's not. What's the name? Alba Fire is the name.
That's what you think.
You're gonna get it one of these days.
Probably gonna get it like when I read it. I'm probably getting it the next time we do NXT predictions. To be honest, because if you know, it's been the specials that's been getting me. That's why I call Katana Chance, and that's why I had to call. That's why I have to call JD McDonough now. So. But anyhow, this match was boring. Nothing in the match was really bad. It was technically a good match. Again, the crowd could have cared less about this match because they just saw that barn burner between Johnny Gargano and Grayson Waller, which I know you're gonna say it's all good because of Johnny Gargano. Grayson Waller did it takes two to tango. Grayson Waller made something go, but yeah, I know you're in character right now. You don't want to give Grayson Waller any credit.
No. All Johnny Gargano.
But anyhow, yeah, so this match was really bland. They never even mentioned anything that like Kaylee Ray and Isla Dawn have going on. It was all about the champions in this match, about whether or not they can work together. Vic Joseph basically says that the champions usually have to like do all this manipulation, but they really didn't have to. So he basically just mentioned they weren't even like involved in this feud at all. He basically just said that without even saying it. Eventually, they lose because Kiana James tried to get Brooks to hand her purse to cheat, and he didn't want to do it. And eventually, it leads to the finish where Kaylee Ray and Isla Dawn hit their tag finisher on him on Kiana James for the win, and we got new tag champions here. This match is 2 stars. I think the reason I gave it 2 stars is I liked some of the double team moves that Kaylee Ray and Nyla Dawn were doing together. So I thought that stuff was good. But yeah, this storyline sucks and it just continues to get worse. What do you think of this?
I think you know it and I know it. It sucks. This match sucked. This whole fucking storyline sucks. They just need to end it and put us out of our misery.
Yeah, which I think hopefully they are soon. So, but we'll do predictions for it because it's looking like now too they're completely gonna switch things up, and now Brooks Jensen and Kiana James are gonna be at odds since he didn't help her win the match and stuff. So then we have the main event, not the show, so you can stay right here. Even though I think you want to leave so you don't have to talk about the main event of Mania Night 2. We had Braun Breaker defending the NXT Championship against Carmelo Hayes with Trick Williams ringside. This was good. I didn't have a lot of expectations for the match, so I think I probably liked it more than you did. I thought it was good, though. Carmelo Hayes had a special entrance. I missed Braun Breaker's entrance. Did he have a special entrance or no?
Not really.
Because he's not a special guy. He's just Braun Breaker. So
he's just Braun.
Breaker. They I bet a lot of the match Carmelo Hayes doesn't have a good start in the match. Some of it I don't know if it was he actually messed up or if it was meant to be like a storyline. One move he definitely messed up, and that's that springboard like Slim Blade he goes for. And the reason I know he messed this up is because he went for it first, but he slipped. And he like did it again right afterwards. So I think he definitely screwed that up in the beginning.
Yeah, that's definitely, if you do that, yeah.
But yeah, this match was good. Nothing really wrong with it or anything like that. They definitely overhyped this match. So they made it seem like this was going to be like one of the best matches in NXT. And it was not that. Like this might have been like the worst title match I think I've seen like an NXT spec. Actually, the second was because the Braun Breaker Joe Gacy title match was pretty damn bad.
I honestly forgot that even happened until you just said it.
Yeah, it did happen. Eventually, Trick Williams gets ejected, and the ref goes down. And how ironic is it? Shawn Michaels and Triple H pretty much booked a similar main event. Trick Williams hits Braun Breaker in the back of the head with the title when he's got Carmelo Hayes in the Steiner recliner. He doesn't get the win that way, and then Carmelo Hayes hits the springboard Slim Blade into the nothing but net for the win. And Carmelo Hayes wins. And afterwards, Braun Breaker does like a passing of the torch where he gives Carmelo Hayes the NXT title, putting him over. That was technically fine, but I talked to you about this yesterday over text messages and stuff. It didn't really make sense that Braun Breaker reacted that way because he knows that he was cheated. He knows he was screwed out of the match. He got hit with the title. Steve did mention that, like, yeah, maybe Carmelo Hayes doesn't know that, but he should have said something like, "You got this title. You didn't win this title because of you." Like, it was fine that he passed the torch to him, but he should have at least said like, "You didn't win this title fair and square" or something like that. Like, he should have said something about it, not just not show respect. Like, he should have been a little bit pissed off. It doesn't have to be much, but he should have been a little pissed off. But I gave the match like 3 stars. I thought it was like good. The crowd was into it more than you think they would be, considering they saw that unsanctioned match. And the white person. I mean, obviously, if it was, I wouldn't say the right person obviously went over because it should have been Grayson Waller. I know you're in character right now, so you're not going to say that. But Grayson Waller should have been in this spot as the champion. But the white person ultimately went over because it's looking like this is going to be Braun Breaker's last match in NXT. But what did you think of this match and everything like that?
I thought this was a decent match. Yeah, like the match was fine, but I don't know. It just wasn't like, it wasn't great.
Yeah,
it wasn't NXT Championship level quality.
Because we've seen Baina's NXT title matches, so that's NXT Stand and Deliver. I thought it was a really good show. I'm gonna give it a B. And that's I know you're gonna grade it higher, but that's a pretty high grade for me because I was not looking forward to the show, as you know, going into it. So that's a pretty high grade. I think the reason I'm a bit hesitant to give this a B is because I know NXT, like, maybe not this week, but I'm very hesitant because NXT sucks every week, and the premium live events are typically good. I feel like NXT is just going to go right back down, at least after this week, and be like shit again. I hope not, but we'll see. What would you give NXT as like a grade? Standing.
Would I give it as a grade? I'll give it an A minus because the unsanctioned match was insane.
Yes.
And that fucking asshole got his ass whooped.
Yes. All right, so now we're going to cover the big show, and that's WrestleMania. What notes do you want to do? Because I think you said you wanted to do. I asked you yesterday via text, and you said you wanted to do. This was before the main event. You said you wanted to do night one. Do you still want to do? Oh, no, sorry, not night one, but night two. Do you still want to do night two, or do you want to do night one now?
I'll do night two. I'll still do night two.
Okay, so I will send you those when I do night one. So yeah, we had WrestleMania 39. We're gonna start with Saturday. The kickoff. The panel was Wade Barrett, Booker T, Caleb Braxton, and Peter Rosenberg. So this has been that way. The kickoff had like a cool setup. It's a typical setup, but because it's in the stadium, it looked like they were like outside, but they were like, I think, way high up in the stadium. So it looked like a cool setup. Everybody did, I thought, really well on the panel. I thought Wade Barrett did probably the best out of anybody. I think he's going to be doing the panels. I think he's basically taking Jerry the King Lawler's spot because I think if Lawler was there, Barrett wouldn't obviously be there. Which kind of sucks for Barrett because, but everybody did relatively well on the panel. Booker T was Booker T, but I am going to give him a pass this time because the guy said he was up since like 6 a.m. type of thing. So, but there was some funny things on the panel. Like it was very windy that day, so their nose were blowing all around and all that type of stuff. Wade Barrett too. There's at one point where they go to like commercial break and then they come back and they were just having like a conversation like on the panel, and I think Wade Barrett like realized it and he was like writing stuff down and like not even paying attention. And then at the very end of the panel, they make fun of Peter Rosenberg because his bow tie wasn't tied properly, and we found out that it was Corey Graves that tied his bow tie. So I think Corey Graves, I think he ribbed Peter Rosenberg. Not very nice, Corey. It was not nice at all.
Yeah,
but I think you like that because you're not a big Peter Rosenberg guy. You like the Corey Graves. You like the Graveses of the world.
Graves.
So. Huh?
It's official now. Grizzly Gang veterans have been released.
Okay, so they're gone.
It was granted.
I don't blame them, like I talked about. But yeah, let's just go through the kickoff real quick. It was a 2-hour kickoff. I thought it was a bit too long because there was no match or anything like that. I thought if you're gonna do a 2-hour kickoff, you should at least have a match in there. Like maybe this is where you could have had the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at least. So that way at least Bobby Lashley can get on can have like a match on Mania at least. But yeah, a lot of talking here. Byron Saxton does an update where he's like outside. He interviews fans and asks them the predictions on matches and stuff. Fluffy gets interviewed. He talks about how he's this big wrestling fan. Basically, he says a lot of the same stuff that he said at the Royal Rumble kickoff. Obviously, he says different stuff here because there's different wrestlers here and stuff. I assume you knew that. He wasn't going to say the exact same thing he said at the Rumble.
Yeah.
Maria Menounos got interviewed. This was kind of cool because we haven't seen her talk really much. She talks about how she's looking forward to seeing Brock Lesnar versus Omos the most, and just talks about the Hall of Fame and things like that. Talks about her fandom. Rafael gets interviewed. I missed most of his interview. I didn't even know it was him because I think he's a fighter and I obviously don't follow that stuff. I think this is the guy that like was trying to start fights with the fans and stuff. He was like getting the fans into it, so that was pretty funny. I didn't hear the whole thing, but I thought it was pretty funny. Stephen A. Smith gets interviewed. He's like an ESPN announcer, correct?
Yeah, he works for ESPN.
And he's a big wrestling fan. He talked about his favorite wrestling moments. He talked about how he only goes to big boy shows. He doesn't go to little league. So obviously, I was asking a lot of questions, like if he was at this show this week and if he was at that show and stuff. And you're like, nah, he wasn't there.
Nah.
I asked you.
I didn't know
asked
you were talking about it first. Now I know why.
Yeah, and then I asked
because I didn't watch the pre-show because reasons.
Yeah.
Almost did.
But that's because you were like coming back, I think, from getting like the pizza or something like that. I think you told me. So
yeah.
But yeah, so so Stephen A. Smith, he was pretty funny here. Johnny Knoxville got interviewed. He got interviewed like backstage, and he talked about his history with Sami Zayn. And he says, I hope him and Sami Zayn lose tonight because he still doesn't like Sami Zayn from last year. Did you see the Instagram thing where like Sami Zayn tried to like bury the hatchet with Johnny Knoxville, but he wasn't able to do it? I thought that was great.
That's sad.
Yeah. I thought they would do something where like they would make up and like he'd help them win, but that didn't happen. Byron Saxton has another update where he walks around backstage. He goes through the cricket stuff where you can get like information about your favorite superstars. He tries to do like his best Miz pose because he felt like he could break out his inner Miz there. So yeah, Byron Saxton was just being a cool guy there. And then Ryan Garcia gets interviewed. He just talked about WrestleMania and things like that. I don't even remember who this guy is. I think he's a fighter. I think he talked about his match coming up with like Rey Mysterio, and then Booker T asked him about a fight that he has coming up. So, and he says he's gonna win that fight. So what a cool guy! What a cool man! I think he knows Logan Paul too because he like fought like Jake Paul, I think, at one point. So then we had Community Week where they show all the stuff they did for like the community. They brought him out, and they I think it was I don't even remember who brought him out. I think it was Byron Saxton, and they mentioned all the nice things that they do for the communities and stuff. And they say that WWE is gonna give like a big donation to that stuff and all that type of stuff.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
Then we found out maybe it wasn't only WWE that was doing that, but we'll talk about that at the end of the show. Then we had the show. We had the commentary team of Corey Graves and Michael Cole. They were really awesome on this show. Especially Cole, because Cole, he's been on the go since like Friday. We'll talk about it when we review Sunday, because you could definitely tell that he lost his voice on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
But Corey, because Michael Cole did SmackDown, he had to do a beginning portions of the Hall of Fame. I think he did an interview like this day, I believe, correct? He did like an interview, like not like we had the national anthem, which was America the Beautiful. It was performed by Becky G. Thought she did a relatively good job. She's in the LWO now, technically, because Selena Vega gave her like a T-shirt backstage. So Becky G's in the LWO, so that's great. We had the intro, which shows everything that's going to happen at WrestleMania. It's the typical Mania intro that you see every year. Then we had the Miz and Snoop Dogg. They run through the code, and they talk about how this is going to be a great WrestleMania this year. And I don't know when it was announced that Snoop Dogg was the host, because that was clearly news to everyone. It was news to me because I was on my phone most of the day. So I don't know if it was just announced. It was just randomly announced, like he just happened to be there type of thing. But it was still cool. He does some cool stuff on this show. We had the United States Championship match. It was Austin Theory versus John Cena. Austin Theory was defending his title on this show. Very good match here. John Cena had a special entrance where he came out with the Make-A-Wish kids. That was pretty cool. This was very good. John Cena dominates the beginning portions of this matchup. And then eventually Austin Theory takes control. He gets a really cool flip into a blockbuster. Cena goes for the AA, and Theory counters into a really cool DDT. Cena hits the 5 moves of doom. He hits the AA, but Theory kicks out. And then eventually the ref takes a bump. Cena locks Theory into the STF, and Theory taps, but the ref doesn't see it. Cena tries to get the referee awake again, because he's obviously injured right now. It's not like he's sleeping or anything like that.
He's sleeping.
He was not sleeping. And Theory uses his opportunity to hit a low blow, and then he hits A-Town down on Cena for the win. I thought this was very good. I give it 3 3/4 stars. You could definitely tell in this match that John Cena's showing his age, not just because of the bald spot, but you could just definitely tell he moves a little slower now. You could just definitely tell that Cena's becoming an old man now. And this is still very good for a guy that hasn't had a one-on-one match, I think, since like 2021. So I still thought this was very good. I thought Cena put over Theory huge here, and yeah, I thought this was very good stuff. What did you think of this?
I liked it. Cena's age is showing big time. I think him not doing like anything in any matches now is like the norm for him. But yeah, it's hard for me to see that because that's like he used to be a fucking workhorse.
Yeah.
I thought the match was fine. It was okay. Theory winning made sense because of course he's fucking young as hell. Has a lot of years and a lot of miles left on him.
Yeah. I thought they'd do something. People had pitched ideas where they'd have Theory lose and like have him go on like a redemption thing and they do another match. But thinking about it, seeing how limited Cena is now and stuff, I think they want to get like all the matches that they can out of him, like with other people. They don't want to have him just wrestle the same person every time. So I think that's why they just had Theory get the win here and stuff. Because again, who knows when John Cena's going to come? They can't really write a storyline where they can expect Cena to be back. Like they don't even know when Cena's going to be back the next time. So
yeah,
if we're going to have Theory,
time off between when he made the appearance,
yeah,
until WrestleMania.
So like
he made his appearance in Boston, I think.
Yeah. So like
the movie was done. So
yeah. So like, why write a storyline for someone that you don't even know when the next time they can be there? So
he might have a movie coming up this week.
Yeah. You don't know. So I understand why people wanted to see Theory go through that, but why write a storyline for Theory if he can't even get his win back anytime soon?
Because he doesn't deserve it.
My next match was the men's WrestleMania Showcase Fatal 4-Way Tag Match with Titus O'Neil on commentary. We had Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus... what's your star rating, by the way, for the United States title match?
2 stars.
Okay. Yeah, we had Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders with Valhalla inside. This was just great. It was a sprint. You had a bunch of stuff happen and this wasn't one of those sprints. Like, this is definitely an example of like the Triple H era versus the Vince era because in the Vince era, this would have been like a quick tag match that would have went like maybe 5 minutes, maybe less than that. This match was probably about like 12 minutes, and everybody got to shine in this match. It was great stuff. Just go watch it for yourself because it's that great. Eventually, Braun Strowman does his typical thing where he runs and does the shoulder tackles to everybody. And Angelo Dawkins completely takes out Braun Strowman. Like, he does a shoulder tackle himself. I loved that because in the Vince era, he would have just gone through the barricade and lost that way. I like that somebody actually took him out where it made them look credible and stuff like that. And Ricochet follows this up with like a 450 to the outside onto them. And then he goes for the 450 inside the ring. Angelo Dawkins gets the knees up, and this allows Montez Ford to hit the frog splash across his back while Angelo Dawkins has his knees in his stomach for the win. And the Street Profits win. I think it was a great victory for the Street Profits. I don't think anyone came across looking bad. And, the new champions were going to need an opponents coming out of, WrestleMania, and this is the perfect first opponent that they can have. With how the main event ended now, they're probably going to just do the match tonight instead of doing a storyline for it because I think the Usos are going to be sticking around longer than I thought they were going to now. But I thought this was great. I give this like 4 stars. This was just a great tag match. I think this match would be good, but it honestly surprised me. It was a great sprint. What do you think of this?
I thought this match was great. I give it 4.5 stars. It was nearly 5 stars for me. Everything flowed so well from top to bottom. I thought every team looked really good. The name of the match itself was absolutely correct. Showcase.
Yeah.
And it was a showcase of tag team wrestling. And Street Profits winning 100% made sense.
Mm-hmm.
This match was just awesome. I loved it.
Next, we had an up, down, down. And I almost said up, down segment. But up, down.
Up, baby.
up, down segment where they basically simulated using WWE 2K23. They simulated like the match between Seth Rollins and Logan Paul and showed what would happen. I don't even remember who won the simulation match because it wasn't really relevant. I think it was Seth. I don't even remember.
It was.
So the simulation kind of gave the match away then. They had various people backstage that couldn't get on Mania. Obviously, the biggest one was Tyler Breeze. I think this is like his first appearance that he's made on WWE program, and since he's been like back training in the PC and stuff like that. I know he's technically done stuff with up, down, but this is the first time he's been on like WrestleMania or anything like that. There's other people that's there, but I don't really remember who they were. What do you think of this segment right here?
I liked it.
I think you loved seeing Tyler Breeze. That's what you loved. So
yes.
And pretty soon we're doing GM mode. We haven't done GM mode yet, so.
Oh yeah, we gotta do it.
Yeah. I was testing to see if you remembered if we haven't done it or not yet. So. Then we had the next match. It was Seth freaking Rollins versus Logan Paul. Logan Paul had this entrance that we could have had a repeat of Owen Hart where he came out. What do you even call those things? It's like a
zip line.
Yeah, like a zip line type of thing. And he didn't go all the way to the win. He went just like to the stage, and they changed his theme song again. I think that's like the third time they changed his theme song since he's been signed.
At least.
And he didn't go all the way to the win. He went to like the stage, which probably was the best course of action. And then Seth Rollins had a cool entrance where he had this guy come out and he orchestrated the crowd to do his his theme song, all that type of stuff. Obviously most of it was just pre-recorded, but I think one of them was like the actual fans that did it because they caught on to it eventually. Seth Rollins came out. He was dressed he was very pink in this match. He was dressed in pink, which was cool. And this match was just great. Seth Rollins dominates the beginning portions of this matchup. Eventually, Logan Paul hits a right hand right to Seth Rollins' ribs, and he works over the ribs of Rollins. He does the submission that it's like an octopus stretch that the founder of New Japan used to do, whose name I can't think of at the moment. I just don't remember it. I'm gonna say Kota Hibachi, but that's probably not even close. I forget who it was, but
Antonio Inoki.
Antonio Inoki. I wasn't even close on that one.
Yeah, you weren't even close.
I like how you just let me like sink right there too. You didn't even say a word. You were just like, "Yeah, he's gonna get it. Come on, he's gonna get it."
Yeah, you would know it's fucking Antonio Inoki.
You haven't been saying Kota Hibachi. That's not even freaking. You're making me look really fucking bad there. What
the close. Yeah, just Kota Hibachi over there. Yeah.
Who the fuck is that? That's not even a real person. I don't think. Anyhow, huh?
It's the founder of New Japan.
I guess so. But anyhow, Logan Paul dominates Seth Rollins. Eventually, Rollins bound to come back. He hits 3 suicide dives in a row onto the outside. He hits a frog splash. Logan Paul kicks out of it. He goes for the stomp. Logan Paul counters it into a right hand to the ribs. And then eventually, Seth Rollins gets ready to hit the stomp onto Logan Paul. And I forgot to mention this. There was a mascot out there dressed in the Prime, Logan Paul's signature drink. And we all originally thought it was Jake Paul because Logan Paul goes to hug his dad. And we don't see Jake Paul out there. So we're all thinking that it's, that it's Jake Paul in the outfit. But, Logan Paul gets pulled out by the Prime mascot. And it's not Jake Paul. It's KSI. Now, I'm pretty sure the relation here is he just recently did Logan Paul fight him or did Jake Paul fight him or did they both?
They're business partners and friends. Now, at least. They hated each other for the longest time. They had a boxing match years ago, and now they're business partners and like kind of friends now.
So obviously that was the connection. Rollins goes for a dive, but he's unable to hit it. And I think earlier in the match too, I forgot to talk about this. Rollins was working over the hand of Logan Paul, and he stomped it onto the steps. And I think this had already happened. Like Logan Paul hits the right hand, and he's unable to make the cover because of the injury. So that protected, I thought, his finisher, and it protected Seth Rollins, which is cool. And then eventually, Logan Paul takes out Seth Rollins again. He goes for the elbow drop through the announce table, and he has KSI film it. And right when he jumps, Seth Rollins pulls KSI across the announcer's table, and Logan Paul inadvertently takes out KSI, and then eventually allows Seth Rollins to put Logan Paul in the ring. He hits a pedigree and a stomp onto him, and Seth Rollins wins the match. I thought this was a great match. I gave it 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this. And I think this match surprised a lot of people. It did surprise me because I know Seth Rollins can work and I know Logan Paul can go. But I think it surprised a lot of people because they still weren't like feeling Logan Paul. But I loved it. I thought this was great. What did you think?
I thought this match was really, really good. I like the inclusion of KSI. I thought that was awesome. I thought this match was it was a really good match.
Then we had the next match. It was Trish Stratus, Lita, and Becky Lynch versus Damage Control. Trish Stratus, Lita, and Becky had a cool entrance where they came out like an old movie styles from like the movies from like the 30s, the 20s, where it's all black and white and everything like that. That was cool. This match was great. They get the heat on Becky Lynch throughout the beginning portions of the matchup. Eventually, Lita gets the hot tag and she starts taking everybody. And then they get the heat on Lita. Then eventually Trish Stratus gets the hot tag. And the match just spills down into chaos. Everybody hits moonsaults and dive. They do a thing where they assist Trish Stratus. She does the Hurricanrana to, I think it was like Io Shirai. And she lands onto everybody on the outside. Eventually, after they've exhausted each other to the point, everybody hits their finisher, at least on the face team, onto the heels. And eventually Becky Lynch beats Bayley with the manhandle slam. And Becky Lynch she hits it off to like the second turnbuckle too. I thought a funny thing about this too in the match was Bayley was going to hit the Bayley to belly onto Becky Lynch. And Trish and Lita were just going to sit. They just stood there and watched it. Like, what if Becky didn't counter that? Like, you would legitimately going to let your own partner you take a Bayley to belly. And Becky didn't counter it. Like, I bet they were like praying to the gods. They're like, "Oh, please counter this, please counter this, please counter." Like, what if she didn't counter that? I could have been like she could have lost the match right there.
She could have.
But anyhow, Becky Lynch wins. I thought this was a great match. I give it 4 stars. It really surprised me because while this match got a lot of build, you could definitely tell that they didn't put as much like build into this match as they did other matches on the show. But I thought the match really surprised me because I wasn't sure like how much time it was going to get and all that type of stuff. And it really, especially too, because you have Lita, who looked fairly clunky in her last match. I don't think she's been in the ring since then. This was Trish's first match, I think, since her retirement match. Well, her farewell match at SummerSlam before the pandemic. So I thought this was great. I give it 4 stars. What do you think?
I give it I give it 3.5 stars. So this match was a good match. Nothing was bad in it, I wouldn't say, but it was solid.
Did you give a star rating to Seth and Logan Paul?
3.
And then we have the match you've been looking forward to. I would say the most, but I think the main event of night 2 is what you're looking forward to the most. But the match you were really looking forward to the most in terms of like kayfabe and everything like that, and that was Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio has a special entrance in this match. He comes out in like a prison style entrance where it shows him like earlier in the day or whatever in prison, and he has like a police escort out there. And Rey Mysterio has an awesome entrance. He comes out with Eddie's Lowrider. He comes out with Snoop Dogg. He has like the most famous song that Snoop Dogg has, and then he comes out to the Eddie Guerrero theme song. Yep, and then he comes out to the Eddie Guerrero theme song, which I loved. And then he comes out to his own theme song. But this was just a great entrance from Rey Mysterio here. And I didn't notice until I watched his diary later in the day. The mask he was wearing here was inspired by the Great Muta, which I didn't even notice until they talked about it in the diary and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until the next day someone had set it on Twitter.
Yeah.
It was a tribute to the Great Muta, and I was like, that makes sense because he's never worn a mask that big before.
Yeah. And we had the match. Dominic Mysterio is being arrogant in this match, trying to get his dad to hit him and stuff. His dad's hitting him, but he's he's just having kind of a wrestling match with him. Eventually, Dominic pisses him off, and Ray attacks Dominic. He takes his belt off when Dominic goes into the steel post, shoulder first into the corner, and just whips Dominic Mysterio with it. Obviously, the ref let this slide because he understood what needed to be done here. He understood that
Michael Cole is losing his mind.
I loved it. And then eventually, Dominic Mysterio takes a drink, and Aaliyah and Angie were inside, and he throws the drink into Aaliyah's face. And this pisses off Aaliyah. Rey Mysterio is trying to calm her down, and Dominic Mysterio uses this opportunity to attack Rey Mysterio. And this was so bad, even Corey Graves couldn't defend it. That's how bad this was. I loved it too because he's trying throughout this match. Michael Cole's just losing his mind, and Corey goes, "I don't agree with this, but I'm just trying to see it from Dominic's point of view." And Michael says, "There is no point of view. There is no his point of view." It was just so great.
He does eventually apologize before the next match though, which I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah, I'm really proud of Michael Cole for being the bigger man in that match. I'm really proud of him. Are you proud of him or nah?
Yeah.
Good. See, Chris has a heart, guys. He understands when he understands. So
I sympathize with Michael Cole, the greatest announcer.
Do you sympathize with Wade Barrett and Corey Graves when they tried to see it?
No.
But yeah, Dominic Mysterio dominates Ray for a while. He does. Eddie Guerrero's patented Three Amigos suplexes, which Michael Cole was not happy about. He does the springboard senton splash that he would do in the corner, and then eventually Rey Mysterio mounts a comeback. He hits a really cool sunset flip into the barricade on Dominic, and then at one point, Angie slaps Dominic Mysterio, which Michael Cole was loving that. He was loving it. He loved it.
I loved it too.
I think Michael Cole loved it more though. You can't even disagree with that. Michael Cole was in heaven when that happened.
I was in heaven.
I think Michael Cole was in ultimate heaven though. He was in if there's a place higher than heaven, that's where Michael Cole was. And then eventually Dominic Mysterio hits an alley-oop into the turnbuckles, which I have not seen that move done. I think since the Big Show started doing it. In late 2009. That's how long that move's been done. He doesn't get the win though. Eventually, Damian Priest and Finn Balor come out to try to run interference, which Michael Cole was absolutely mad about. He just could not believe that this was happening. And the LWO come out. I would not call them the Legado del Fantasma anymore. They're the LWO.
They're the LWO, baby.
And they beat up Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Rhea Ripley wasn't out there because she was getting ready for a SmackDown Women's title match, which Michael Cole understood. He kind of thought it was a little selfish of her, but he understood it. And then eventually, Dominic Mysterio, he hits the 619 on Ray, but he doesn't hit the splash. And at one point, he had this chain out there. It was the handcuffs that he was run into. And Bad Bunny, who was doing Spanish commentary, takes the chain from him. And this allows Rey Mysterio to hit the 619 into the splash for the win. And Rey Mysterio wins the match, and he celebrates with Bad Bunny and his family afterward. They all had a happy celebration. And Michael Cole was pointed out to Dominic Mysterio he could have been in there celebrating with his father this weekend if he just wasn't so selfish. So,
yep.
This match was great. I give it 4 3/4 stars. I thought this was great storytelling and just a great match. What did you think of this?
I give it 5 stars because one reason that ungrateful piece of shit, pissant, fucking turd, fucking asshole son got his fucking ass kicked like he deserved it.
Yes.
I love the fact that Legado came out and they're the LWO and not Legado anymore.
Thank you.
That was the best part about it. Even Michael Cole was like, "Here comes the LWO." I'm like, "All right, that's fucking sick. They're gonna continue rolling with this now."
Yeah.
That's kind of like the first inclination that they were gonna continue with this LWO stable.
Yeah.
And I thought the match, like all the storytelling of the match was great. I loved little Dom pissant getting fucking whipped. Fucking deserves it. Deserves to get his ass whipped. I like that. I like the inclusion of the Mysterio family. Aaliyah tried to jump over the barricade and fucking kill her brother.
Yeah.
I love that. And then the nice sentimental victory celebration with Aaliyah and Angie after Ray won was awesome. I loved it.
And I think we're getting that tag match I talked about in the when we did the predictions. We're getting Ray and Bad Bunny versus Dom and Damien, or just Dom versus Bad Bunny. So
either one would be awesome.
I prefer the tag match because the Damian Priest it gives Damian Priest a storyline because it makes all the sense of the world that Damian Priest and Bad Bunny would.
He was overshadowed by Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the Rumble, he could make the argument he's over because when he made his debut on the main roster.
Yep.
Next, Austin Theory gets interviewed. He just talks about how he's just cemented himself in the WWE now that he's beaten Cena, and now he can only go up from here. I thought he was going to announce he was going to do an open challenge, but
that'd have been awesome if he did that, like the Austin Theory Open Challenge or something like that.
He still could do that. I imagine we'll do predictions, but we're gonna get like a WrestleMania return tonight, to like confront him or something. So, well, I'd like to see Montez Ford do it, but I feel like they already did that though, like the bill going into WrestleMania. So then we had the next thing. It was the Miz and Snoop Dogg promo part 2. They just announced the WrestleMania crowd, and the Miz talks about how he went on like social media earlier in the day and he issued a WrestleMania Open Challenge. And Snoop Dogg just says, "I never saw this Open Challenge anywhere. What are you talking about?" And then the Miz like, "Well, no one accepted the Open Challenge, so I think he said like he deleted it from his like social media or whatever." And then Pat McAfee returns. I remember you legitimately said that day Pat McAfee might not be back in wrestling for a while. He got other things going on. Boy, did fucking Pat McAfee made you eat your words that night.
He did.
And I bet you were loving. I bet you thought those words were fucking tasty seeing him out there.
Oh yeah, it was actually he was hidden backstage, so no one knew he was out there.
Yeah, but yeah, Pat McAfee comes out and he basically challenges the Miz to a match, and the Miz doesn't want to have the match because he doesn't have his ring gear or anything like that. So Snoop Dogg makes the match on the Miz's behalf. He's just like, "Yeah, we're having the match," and they have the match. Pat McAfee beats the crap out of the Miz. Eventually, the Miz is just going to lose and walk out by count out. And George Kittle is out there. And Miz pushes him. And George Kittle jumps over the barricade behind the referee's back and hits a discus clothesline onto him. And then he puts him back in the ring, which allows Pat McAfee to hit the punt for the win. And I loved it. This was 3 stars. But if we were doing this as like a segment, this is like 4 stars. This was awesome. I loved seeing Pat McAfee. I loved seeing George Kittle. George Kittle, I totally is having a match at some point, and he's going to outshine. George Kittle and Pat McAfee are going to be the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions someday, and I'm going to love it. It's going to be great. What do you think of this? It was awesome.
I love this segment. Me being a huge football fan, I love seeing Pat McAfee. I even love seeing how George Kittle get involved. Tight end for the San Francisco 49ers. He threw a mean lariat.
Yes, he did.
That was probably one of the best lariats I've ever seen. That was like, it was so crisp. The Miz sold it perfectly. It just looks so good.
Yeah.
Then Pat hit the swanton off the top to the outside, his little swanton dive that he does, and then the punt. And I loved it. That punt, though, the Miz sold that like a fucking champ.
He did. Then we had
the Miz deserves all his flowers for this, for what he did in night 1 and night 2.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll talk about night 2 in a second. We have to go. We have to jump back now because I forgot to cover a match, and that was the SmackDown Women's Championship match. I passed right over it. It was Charlotte Flair defending against Rhea Ripley. This match was great. I really enjoyed it. It was very stiff. Clearly, just like a makeup for Rhea Ripley for WrestleMania 36. In hindsight, this match makes that better because WrestleMania 36 took place. The theme song that Miz says it's in the Thunderdome. It was not the Thunderdome back then. It was the PC with nobody there. So I don't know what the Miz was talking about there. I don't know what he was doing. But yeah, this match was great. I really enjoyed it. It was very stiff. I thought Charlotte Flair legitimately got injured at some points in this match. But eventually she loses after a second Riptide. And I give the match 4 3/4 stars. It was great stuff. And it got Rhea Ripley right back on track. I really enjoyed this. I think she's gonna be a great SmackDown Women's Champion. I think she's gonna hold this belt for a while, like a year almost. Might even be longer than that. But what do you think of this?
At the time, I called it an average match because at this point, I was kind of burnt out, just waiting for the main event to happen. And the fact that I was so happy that it wasn't the women main eventing, and it was Kevin and Sami against the Usos main eventing. But at the time, I called it an average match. And looking back, I even said it in our private chat that it was a little harsh of a rating for me to call it an average match. The more I thought about it, I was like, okay, that's good. That was a good match. And then the more I thought about it yesterday was that this match is fucking great.
Yeah.
The beginning was really slow. But as the match went along, it really started to pick up and really started to get very, 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 very good.
Yeah.
It's a great match. It's I wouldn't say it's the greatest women's match of all time, but it's definitely in the top 5 for sure. Maybe in the top 3, honestly.
Yeah.
The greatest of all time, probably not. But it's definitely in the top 3 in terms of women's matches of all time.
Yeah.
The match it was fantastic.
That
Riptide at the top rope is nuts.
Yeah. I would say too after this, maybe Charlotte gets a rematch, or maybe not. She should be. They should do something different because this is a chance to not have on the title picture. Because I think she's always been in the title picture when she's been with the
always.
WWE. So I think this is a chance to do something different with Charlotte Flair now. So we'll see. Then it shows an ad for WrestleMania 40. Where it's going to be in Philly. And in our private chat, we talked about potentially going. So that was before the main event went down. I'm still thinking about it, obviously, because it's WrestleMania. So, and especially too, if Roman loses the belt there, we could potentially be there when he loses the belt. So, but yeah, then we had the main event. Then it showed a DraftKings ad. That was cool. Then we had the main event. It was the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match. It was the Usos defending against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This match was fantastic. The Usos had a cool entrance for the match. I think they had some rapper come out and perform first, and then they came out, and then Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn had an awesome entrance. This match was just fantastic. The Usos dominate Sami Zayn throughout the beginning portions of the matchup, just really beating him down. Eventually, Kevin Owens made the hot tag. He hits a swanton bomb off the top turnbuckle onto the floor onto them. And then Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn just start taking out the Usos. And then eventually the Usos just dominate this match for the rest of it pretty much. They hit various super kicks onto Sami Zayn, just one after the other, where you thought the match was going to be over. Kevin Owens tries to save him. The Usos hit a double power bomb through the announcer's table. And Sami Zayn is the first one to, other than Motor City, but the first one in WWE to kick out of the 1D. He actually kicked out of it, which was awesome. And then Kevin Owens gets the hot tag. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens start going off on him. They hit the haluva kick and the stunner, but the Usos kick out. The Usos hit the double splash on Owens, and Sami Zayn just gets there in time to save the match. And then eventually the match ends. Sami Zayn hits 3 Haluva kicks in a row onto Jey Uso. And I think doing like the second one, KO hit the stunner onto Jimmy Uso. And Sami Zayn pins Jey Uso. And KO and Sami become the new undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions. This match was 5 stars. It had great storytelling and just a fantastic match. It was just awesome. Great way to end Mania Night 1. And I'm glad this main event, and I'm glad they, because it was obviously speculated whether or not it was going to be this match or the SmackDown Women's title match that main evented. I'm glad Triple H made the right call and main evented this match. But what did you think of this match and everything like that?
This match is 5 stars. There's really no fucking words to describe this match. It was fucking amazing. Fucking amazing.
Yeah, pretty much. Other things that happened, we had the press conference afterwards. They've been doing these press conferences, obviously, since pretty much Triple H took over. I like these press conferences. I think it's a good way. It's easier than just doing like a media scrum or what they would do before. So I enjoy them. I really like them. It's a good way to get like insight on the WWE like immediately. So I like these press conferences. I'm trying to remember who was on it. Rhea Ripley was on it. She talked about like her experiences at WrestleMania, and things like that. Triple H was obviously on it. He talked about how successful Night 1 was and just kind of gave some insights. And then Rey Mysterio was on it. He talked about like facing his son, and things like that. Yeah, it was just good. I like the press conferences. I enjoy listening to them. What did you did you get to catch this at least the Night 1 press conference, or did you go to bed because you're no one?
No, I went to bed.
And then next was they showed the bump where they just kind of gave reactions to the show. It was decent stuff. And then yeah, that's Night 1. So do you want to do the same thing we did for TakeOver Stand and Deliver and just grade Night 1 and Night 2 as the same show?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do WrestleMania Sunday now.
Okay. Let's get the shit going here.
Ignore the exclusives where it says the WrestleMania Saturday rundown and stuff. I don't know why I put that there. So just stop from like the kickoff and stuff.
So I gotta get my notes all set up here and get rid of what I don't need. But let's see here. Okay, so they had the panel was pretty much the same. I think Kevin Patrick was new.
He was
new, but they basically it's basically the same thing as they did on Saturday, which is just this recapped Mania.
Yeah.
But yeah. And they had Peter Rosenberg backstage, and he did the walkthrough from the locker room up to Gorilla and out down to the ring, which I thought was fucking cool. I didn't realize how long of a run it was to get to the ring. Like holy shit! Even to get to Gorilla, it's far.
I didn't realize and I was talking to like in the private chat that you Chris you Steve and I have and stuff. I don't know why I said Chris. You're right here. But like the fact that you have to take an elevator to get to it, like you have to make sure everything goes right. Because if you get stuck in that elevator, like the main event last night, I mean, as bad as it was, if Cody got stuck in the elevator and like the elevator broke down, we could have had it could have been worse. So, and it was cool. Like it was just such a cool tour. I wish they did that for Night 1. I don't know if it was like something,
it would have made sense if they did Night 1 though.
Huh?
It would have made sense if they did it in Night 1.
Yeah, but it was cool. I think we talked. I think you mentioned it in the chat. I think because Peter Rosenberg walks by Stacy Keibler and he doesn't even acknowledge Stacy Keibler. Like he doesn't even acknowledge that it's her. Like
That was funny as hell.
He walks by like Bronson Reed, and I think he was about to like shit himself. He was that scared, and he was.
Because he bumped into Bronson Reed, and Bronson Reed was like, "Watch where you're going."
I don't think he was.
And he like laughed and went out about his business.
I don't know if that was supposed to happen or not. If they just improvised there or what, but
no, that was definitely supposed to happen. But the way that Bronson Reed reacted, it was 100% planned.
But the biggest thing that happened, he was a meanie here. He was supposed to bring tacos to Caleb Braxton, and he was supposed to get Booker T a Red Bull, and he fucking didn't even do that. There was no tacos there, and there was no fucking Red Bull. What is he doing? It's fucking mean.
That was very fucking mean. So basically they just recapped the show.
Yeah.
I remember they did a segment with a kid and a woman who had big boobs, and the big boob woman picked Roman Reigns, and the kid picked Cody Rhodes. The kid was probably devastated.
He was.
But yeah, like I'm not gonna
they interviewed various people. Like it was basically the same thing that they
it's the same thing as night one. They had Greg Miller in there and George Kittle, and Kittle talked about that about like Roman Reigns and how he wants Roman to win, and that he loves wrestling and everything. It's awesome. It was good. It was actually pretty good. It was a pretty good show. I liked. It was far too long though.
Yeah,
it definitely should have been like an hour-long pre-show instead of being 2 hours long.
Definitely.
The national anthem was performed again, done beautifully once again, as it usually is at WrestleMania.
This guy was great, actually. He was really.
It was awesome. It was perfectly done. But yeah, so then the show starts out with Snoop Dogg and The Miz. I kind of forget what happens. I don't remember what they
just break down like the matches and talk about like
how
big. This time, Snoop Dogg had like apparently there's like a title now that they give to like the celebrities. I don't know if
it's his championship that they gave him, but like they had this bit going on online where like he kept losing the title and people kept taking it from him.
Yeah.
So and eventually, Cody found the belt and gave it back to him like a few days ago or something like that.
Because him and Cody are pretty close since they did that show.
The Go Big show.
Yeah.
And he gave him that awful theme song that I honestly completely forgot about until the other day when we talked about it in the chat.
Yes.
So the night one of WrestleMania kicked off with the first match. It was Brock Lesnar versus Omos. And to say not lived up to expectations. It went past expectations.
Yeah.
Brock sold like a motherfucker for Omos, and rightfully, and I give Brock credit for this. When he's the one taking the damage, this dude sells fantastically.
Yeah.
He was really putting over the fact that every strike that the 7'1", 415-pound Nigerian giant hit him with hurts.
He's like one of
the back. You can see him wince in pain.
He's like one of the best sellers in the business. I don't really think a lot of people think that because of how dominant he is in the UFC, but he
doesn't sell very often.
Yeah, but he can sell when he needs to sell. And if Brock wasn't
great,
yeah.
Too also, Brock looked great. Brock hit Suplex City on him, which is impressive, and he picked up that big fucking 7 foot tall, 410-pound Nigerian fucking giant and hit him with the fucking F5, and he won.
Mm-hmm.
It took one F5 for him to pin the Nigerian giant Omos, and I loved this match so much. And it showcased Brock's selling ability, and the fact that he had to overcome adversity, which he never fucking has to do in any of his matches, for the most part. Very, very rarely does he ever have to overcome adversity in a match. And very rarely does he fight someone that's bigger than him.
Yeah.
And especially someone, I think the last time he faced someone this tall was the Big Show.
Yes.
And
Braun Strowman.
Braun. Yeah, Braun. That was like 2000. 1918, 17 maybe.
The one where he had to overcome adversity, I would say, was the No Mercy match. Because technically, the last time they faced off was the Crown Jewel match, but that I wouldn't call Brock having to overcome adversity there because there's some bullshit in there. So the one technically they faced off in 2018, but the last time like where Brock faced Blonde, where he had to overcome the adversity, was No Mercy 2017.
Yeah. But overall, this match was fantastic. Like it's like it was a short match. It's probably the shortest match on the entire WrestleMania card.
Yeah.
That was an actual match, and not something that we'll talk about later on.
Yeah, this was I liked it, but I liked this.
Actually, an actual advertised match.
I gave this 3 stars. I thought this was good stuff. I think too. We didn't really talk about this because I think everyone thought Omos was so limited. You gotta remember too, Brock doesn't usually have good matches with big guys, anyways. Even if
and this one was one of.
Yeah. So I like this. There was one other time I can think of a Brock had to overcome adversity. I think we're just thinking of like the big guys. I would say Crown Jewel last year against Bobby because he got dominated throughout.
Yeah.
He won like via fluke and stuff. So that's probably the last one.
Like in terms of like overall, he very rarely faces adversity.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
dominating usually.
I was gonna say the SummerSlam match at in the Last Man Standing match, but I was thinking about it. Brock dominated a good portion of that match before
against Goldberg maybe, and at Survivor Series 2016 maybe.
Yeah, but Braun was after that though. Yeah. So, but yeah, this was good. What would you give it as like a star rating?
I give it the same thing as you. I give it 3 stars. It exceeded my expectations.
Absolutely.
My expectations for this match were extremely low, and them just having the type of match that they had, it exceeded my expectations.
I kind of hope this keeps like Omos around for a while. Like,
I feel like Brock is like the perfect opponent for him too.
Yeah,
like you said, like Brock has shitty matches against big dudes, and that he does. But this is the best match he's had against a big guy.
Yeah, definitely.
The next match was the Women's Showcase Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match, and this I will say is the exact opposite of the Men's Showcase because it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalya and Shotzi versus Ronda and Shayna versus Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville, and I will say this: Shotzi looked terrible in this match.
She did.
And it's just everything looks slow and kind of not like clunky in the way of botches, but like just like clunky. And it's just like, and I honestly didn't think this match was going to be this bad, but I give it like 1.5 stars. Like this match just sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Funny thing is, as bad as this match is, we're gonna talk about it. Didn't piss us off like the main event did, though. So while this match was bad, it was inoffensively bad. The main event was offensively good. Just So let's be honest. When we were watching the show, you even said in the chat, yeah, probably gonna be the shittiest match tonight. Just getting out of the way. Oh, this wasn't the shittiest thing that happened in the night. So
yes,
I still give it like a star and a half. I didn't really understand why they had Wanda and Shayna win. To be honest, I can kind of see it a little bit just because they might want to put the tag titles on them and stuff. I do think this has something to do with the fact that Carmella couldn't be in the match. I feel like if Carmella was able to be in the match, they would have had Chelsea Green and Carmella win. But something like we said, something happened with Carmella where she's unable to wrestle. I don't know. She clearly something happened. We don't know
though. Next, what was the what did they do? Whoa, was the up down down segment like another match playthrough? I think it was Cody versus Roman, right?
It was the IC title triple threat, and Drew won the IC title triple threat. This is fairly noteworthy because there was no Tyler Breeze this time, and
very good. Different night one.
Yeah, I don't know what. Maybe he was busy.
Next, we have the Bobby Lashley pointless segment where he came out and just taunted with the fucking trophy.
Yeah, I thought he was doing his open challenge, but he never
Don't
did.
Understand why they did that.
Again, though,
As soon as he came out in street clothes, I was like, okay, he's not having a match.
yeah. Again, though, not the thing that pisses us off.
No.
It's not the worst thing in the night.
Night 2 had, by far and away, a couple of missteps.
Yeah.
Way more than in night 1. Which is surprising to me in a lot of ways.
And the one couple, I would say the one thing that's that couple is a pretty big thing that happens in that couple. So we'll get in there though. We're almost there.
It's just like as soon as he came out, I was like, "Oh, he's in street clothes."
Yeah,
I thought he cut wrestling.
I thought he at least cut a promo or something though. Like,
nope, he just did his typical boom, boom, boom taunt with his fists.
But I remember we forgave this because he was screwed over and he was supposed to be a Mania anyway. So maybe this was a way they wanted to get him like a Mania payday. So I'm like, okay,
get him on the. I mean, he technically did have a WrestleMania moment, I guess, because he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I guess that I kind of count that as an extension of WrestleMania. But yeah, it was circumstances, not to his benefit.
Notice we're forgiving these bad things that happen because it's completely out of WWE's control. The thing that happens in the main event, that's all they have.
It could get worse.
It could get worse, and it's about to get worse.
So now,
well, not now.
With Titus O'Neil commentary, which he was hilarious. It was the triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. It was Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus versus Gunther.
The notes say otherwise, though.
And he had Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser with him at the full Imperium, and they did the full entrance this time.
They did.
Where Ludwig Kaiser came out and did the fucking the Ring General. Gunther. Yeah. I love it. I love when Imperium's together.
Me too.
Sheamus and Drew didn't really have special entrances, but Drew had Mania attire.
Yeah.
The white, which was really cool. I liked it. I am gonna say this for this match. Just watch it. Just watch this match because it's 5 stars. If Dave Meltzer does not rate this match 5 stars like he did Clash of the Castle, he doesn't know wrestling.
Yeah.
Because this match was a 5-star classic.
How long does he wait to put his 5-star ratings out there? Like I can
it's gonna be like 6 years from now. Because he takes fucking forever because he's old.
I'll just check Wikipedia real quick.
And I'm not going to go blow by blow, but there was a lot of fucking physicality in this match. Lots of punches, lots of strikes. We'll say this. Lots of chops. Insane amount of chops. Lots of red chests. Sheamus's chest was red about a minute and a half into the match.
Yeah.
It was almost bleeding, which was fucking wild.
Yeah.
Gunther won with the power bomb.
Yeah.
After he hit the top rope and hit I think he hit Drew with a splash.
Yeah.
He hit one of them with a splash while they were pinning, and then nailed them both with I think it was. Did he pin Drew or Sheamus?
He pinned Drew. He did like
he powerbombed Sheamus onto Drew and then pinned Sheamus.
Yeah. Well, he powerbombed Sheamus onto Drew and then just did a powerbomb to Drew and then pinned Drew.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it was. Yeah.
This is fantastic. But I just checked. I will give it a couple days because it's not on the Wikipedia thing yet, but maybe Wikipedia hasn't updated yet. So let's not give Meltzer shit yet, because he may not have.
It's taken forever.
Yeah,
I know it will.
But
WWE.
Yeah, give it my thoughts. This match was fantastic. Easily 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. And Titus O'Neil, like this match was so good, he almost called the cops. I thought he was going to call the cops.
He said, I think it was like Michael Cole asked him if he would ever be chopped by Walter, and he goes, "No, I just rather call the police."
Yeah, I think Corey Graves was getting annoyed because he didn't get to fucking talk at all because he was like, because Titus O'Neil kept talking over him. Like,
That was so fucking funny.
I want Titus O'Neil on like guest commentary for like at least one match per pay per view.
People thought that he was like, I saw like a bunch of people on Twitter that said like that he was like annoying and shit. And I'm like, I loved it. Okay,
Yeah,
anybody get Titus on the show, I'll take it.
this was 5 stars. This match was excellent. I loved it. I loved the end fighting with like Drew and Sheamus, and I think we're getting that heel turn with Drew soon. I think we're gonna get it.
They I think it was Sheamus posted afterwards on Instagram. It was him and Drew in the locker room together, and they just look like they went through a fucking war.
Yeah.
They're both fucking beat red from the chops, and Sheamus has ice pack on his neck. It just looked like they went through a fucking war.
I would do something like the one match they should do. I don't know if they're gonna do it at Backlash, but they need to do because it's pretty much out right now. We pretty much given our thoughts on it. They should do Roman versus like Sheamus at Backlash. But they're not gonna. What's they not gonna do? I think Roman's skipping out on Backlash because why would he want to ever show up? He was gonna get to that 1,000 days, and he can't do that if he just shows up at Backlash. But yeah, Roman and Sheamus should have a match, and Drew should cost like Sheamus that match. But I feel like though that wouldn't really make sense because they want to do like the IC title stuff.
You know what we've seen? We've seen Drew versus Sheamus versus Gunther. We've seen Gunther versus Sheamus. We haven't seen Gunther versus Drew McIntyre yet.
Yeah, so that's probably the next one.
I would love to see that for the Intercontinental Championship because that match would be that again. That would be a fucking banger.
Yeah,
bros.
Can't say that, but yeah, this is 5 stars. This is fantastic. And Walter won clean, which is the best part about it. He didn't win with like bullshit or anything. Like
he didn't need Imperium wasn't there to help him. He did it all by himself because he's a big boy.
Yeah, he actually looked like
anyone like that little pissant Dominic Mysterio needs a Judgment Day. And
that pissant and the tribal chief that claims he's this dominant tribal chief, but he needs all this. Like Walter looked more stronger than he did. Like
he looked like a machine.
Yeah, but continue talking about the show.
So next we had Bianca Belair versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. This match was really good. Asuka goes for the mist and she misses, and it looks like it's fucking like blue Gatorade on the fucking mat.
Yeah.
It was way too liquidy.
And I don't like blue Gatorade, so that's like that's automatically going down like a quarter star.
Not like a blue Gatorade, but like a generic blue drink. Is what it looks.
So it's going back up a quarter star then.
That's what it looked like, yeah. Because not like there's no really like blue Gatorade. That looks like that. It's like a really like dark blue fucking generic drink that you see at the fucking grocery store.
Yeah.
So she misses with the mist, and Asuka hits the KOD and wins. I give this match.
Bianca hits the KOD and wins.
Oh yeah, not Asuka. Why would she fucking hit the KOD on Bianca Belair and win? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
her fucking finisher.
Hey, at least you know the guy who created New Japan. So actually, I just forgot it. I just said it a second ago.
But so Bianca wins. I mean, the crowd was into this match after that fucking 5-star fucking classic that was the match before.
Yeah.
They were into it from beginning to end. Bianca winning, I don't mind it, but at the same time, Asuka should have won. I feel like again, this is kind of another misstep on this night too. Kind of forgot about that. I classify this as a kind of a misstep. Whereas, yeah, she's been champion for over a year, Bianca, but I think it was time.
Yeah, I'll say this though. I was forgiven of it though because I'm like, okay, there's still more stuff. Yeah, she should have lost, but there's still at least like more stuff she can do, like with the championship. Maybe they're gonna bring somebody in tomorrow night that she'll do like an open challenge and lose really fast. Like there's still stuff you can do with Bianca. You notice I'm being very forgiving to all the missteps at the moment right now, by the way.
Yeah.
Because But that is stuff. That is stuff I was. That was stuff I mentioned though. There's still stuff you could do with Bianca, and she's still also over. Like her story's not over. And I think they're trying to do like a WrestleMania streak with her at the moment too. So
that's true.
And also too, if you didn't mention the entrances that they had in the match. Asuka had like a special entrance where like they had various people come out like dressed in a mask and things like that. And then Bianca came out with what's the name of that group that was there?
I think it was like the cheerleaders of Los Angeles or something.
And I got very scared because one of them did like this like did like the Exorcist walk type of thing, and I was very scared.
Triple H said that girl's mom died that day too, so that was kind of like
a
way for her to like kind of cope, and she got to have a little bit of fun on a very, very shitty day.
I think the biggest thing too, like we talked about it in the chat, is
yes, the chat
is the crowd was into it, but unfortunately not as much Corey Graves, but Michael Cole's voice was just shot during this match. Like not as bad as No Way Out 07, but like it took him a while to get back into the show a little bit. Like he was you could hear his voice cracking during this match.
And this is interesting, but I think this is after the match or like later on during the night, Asuka tweeted this out. I might as well go back to Japan, but I bet a lot of you guys, my friends, will miss me when I leave WWE. Now I need the power of your anger. Let's bring chaos to the boring women's division with me. Let's bring chaos to the women's division. Let's bring chaos to WWE. I don't know what the fuck that means. Is she trying to bring the fucking chaos stable to WWE? Like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Yeah, like is that has to be a work then? She wouldn't have tweeted that if it wasn't a work. So
yeah, I mean, like she's probably gonna bring a staple in or something. Like, I don't know. That's like.
So see,
leaving. But the first line once I saw, I'm like, wait, is she gonna leave? I'm like, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm like, is she leaving and going back home to Japan? Like, I don't know what the fuck they like. That would kill the division entirely.
Yeah,
the best they have in the division right now.
And they can't have her leave with New Japan starting their women's division because
AEW.
She'd probably go back to like New Japan. She'd go to New Japan and be.
Yeah, but I don't think she's leaving. I think she's just pissed off character wise.
Yeah. So see though that we can forgive this finish if something comes of it because there's something that good that can actually come from this. So notice I'm being very forgiving to the missteps.
Yeah, you shouldn't be.
And being very well. Don't worry. There's gonna be a rant soon. We just have to get there.
Next we had Miz and Snoop Dogg again are out.
Oh wait, we didn't do a star rating for the Raw Women's title match. I give it like 4.
I give it 4 too. It's still a good match regardless of who won.
Yeah.
Next we have Snoop Dogg and the Miz are in the ring, and the Miz basically is saying that he has an expensive suit on and that he doesn't want to wrestle again in his suit. And but Snoop makes the match, and out comes Shane McMahon.
Yep.
Challenge. Shane does his entrance, and approximately 30 seconds of the match,
yeah,
Shane does a leapfrog, he lands awkwardly, and he fucking blew out his quad.
Yep.
Triple H confirmed it. Like father, like son, he tore his fucking quad.
Yes, he did.
I was like, as soon as that happened, I said in the chat, I think he blew out his knee. Because it looked like an ACL injury from where it had happened. But they didn't show him again. They didn't show him. So I'm like, this is legit.
And he was never mentioned again. Not that they didn't show. He was never mentioned ever again. Like it was
mentioned again. So his WWE return lasted all of maybe a minute.
Yeah.
So he blew out his quad, and then they got him out of the ring. And Snoop Dogg, I think they said Jessica Carr went over to Snoop, and then told him something, and then he went in the ring, and Snoop decks the Miz,
Yeah.
just with a really good looking punch, I might add, and he hits him with a people's elbow and wins.
And you heard Jessica call like in the ring say people's elbow to Snoop too. Like
Yeah, like that was like out of a shitty situation with Shane being hurt to Snoop getting involved and Snoop winning. It was awesome.
I
Not
give it
Shane
like
getting hurt. That was very not awesome. But Snoop being involved is awesome.
This is like the weirdest match I've ever seen. I give it like 3 stars just because
it was bizarre.
You have to forgive it because Shane got hurt, but they were able to improvise pretty well. I know a lot of people said online that you told me in the chat that a lot of people thought Snoop Dogg's like people's elbow looked like shit and stuff. Like they had to improvise. I don't think they expected to do a people's elbow that night. So
wrestle that night.
Yeah.
But
so like
yeah, I give it like 3 stars for Snoop's involvement. I think, and we discussed this too in the chat, like in our private chat, that I think we came to the conclusion that Shane was blown up.
Yeah.
From his entrance.
Yeah. I don't know if he
was like exhausted already.
Yeah.
That's a long ramp.
I don't think he got injured like then, but I'm wondering if like it was like on the point of like popping or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
I think it was just him being like not wrestling very often.
Yeah.
And him being like out of ring shape. And then when he went up to go do the leapfrog and then come back down, he just landed awkwardly and blew out a squad.
Yeah.
Which is like okay, it's like father like son.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the Snoop's involvement was awesome on both nights.
And pretty much Snoop confirmed. I don't know if you saw, like he does like an interview too, like they do the bump thing again. They did like interviews like with Caleb Braxton like on the bump, and Caleb Braxton like interviews him, and Snoop basically confirms that like this was legit too. Like he's like, I didn't expect to wrestle tonight. Like he basically confirms it too.
Yeah,
like
he didn't expect to wrestle at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Shane's big WrestleMania return lasted all of maybe a minute, and I think 30 seconds of it he was on the mat.
Funny thing is too, I think we talked about James and I talked about it when we did the Royal Rumble with you last year. That like that's the return that Shane had last year was like the worst that ever. I think he topped his return from the Royal Rumble 2022. Like funny thing is, he's made the news sites even more this time than he did last time. I remember last time was a big thing, and now it's like, I think Shane. I don't know if he's going to be on.
Coming out of a shitty situation, though, I think they made like the best of it.
Yeah, because I think Shane was going to like. I don't think he was going to be on like TV full time or anything like that, but I think he was going to do something tonight too if he didn't blow out his like quad too. Like,
yeah,
would have been.
I can't even believe he did it.
I know.
Like they made sure not to show him. Usually, when something like that happens, they're like, and it goes in with the story and whatnot. They're usually right there with the camera.
Yeah.
To show them. They went to the replay to show how Shane got hurt, and you didn't see Shane on the mat.
Yeah.
The replay cut Shane out entirely.
Like and Michael Cole,
you saw his foot and his ankle, and that's all you saw. And while Miz was like going back and pacing back and forth, all you saw was Shane's foot and ankle in the replay box, and that was it.
And then once Snoop starts wrestling and stuff, like it's like Shane was never there. He's like never mentioned ever again.
They didn't talk about him again.
He had this grand return, and like he was never mentioned ever again. It's just...
I was like, what the fuck? Shane gets seriously injured, and he's not even mentioned one time after that.
Not an update on anything, like until like the press conference, like.
So bizarre. The whole thing was bizarre.
It might be like the greatest like 3-star match I've ever seen in my life. Like,
just all of it, completely bizarre. So next we had the Hell in a Cell match, the match that we were both looking forward to for the most part.
Yeah.
It was the Demon Finn Balor versus Brood Edge. And
what?
I will say this:
Brood Edge. What are you talking about?
The Demon Finn Balor, his entrance, fucking awesome.
Wood.
Brood Edge sucked.
Yeah.
The entrance itself, I thought was really cool. Not Brood Edge.
Yeah.
You could not convince me it's Brood Edge. It even said Brood Edge on the Tron, but not Brood Edge. Brood Edge is Gangrel, Christian, Edge. That's the Brood. Not what he did a couple of years ago at Day One against The Miz. That was Brood Edge. What he did against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam a few years ago, that was Brood Edge. This right here, not Brood Edge.
I think we talked about it in the chat. I mentioned this. This was, I think, gonna be like what he was when he came back at SummerSlam. He came out to like I think this song. This was gonna be his gimmick before I think Triple H took over. Because if you notice, he didn't use that song again until the WrestleMania. Like
and also too, fake news reports again always get me. There was Tony Khan apparently gave permission from Christian to appear at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
and
as you said, they wrote him off to at Revolution and everything like that too. Like,
and I thought that was the perfect opportunity. You could have had the Judgment Day come out, especially when Finn legitimately got cut open in the match.
Yeah.
And I saw I think Finn posted a picture of himself.
It
goes from like the top of his fucking head to the middle of his head.
He's not gonna be wrestling for a little bit. I don't think.
Massive fucking wound that happened when Edge threw the ladder at him.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had to do the numbing agent and everything, and then to staple up the wound.
Yeah,
it was brutal. He was cut open the hard way. That wasn't. I don't think this was supposed to happen. I don't think there was supposed to be any blood in this match. But hey, shit happens. It's wrestling.
It made the match work though.
He was supposed to get his hands up like over his head too, so when Edge threw it, hit off his hands. But I think it missed his hands, and the rungs hit him and fucking scraped upwards on his head.
Yeah,
and caught his scalp. Like that was brutal.
Yeah.
Even when we saw it live, like when Edge threw it, like oh, holy crap!
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my god, that fucking looked like that really hurt. But yeah, this match is the match itself is fantastic.
It was
like 4.5 stars. Despite the fact that wasn't Brood Edge.
I gave it 4 3/4. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed the cell match. It was really weird because we were talking about it in the chat that if you just showed a fan wrestling for the first time, you would have thought Finn was the face and Edge was the heel going into this feud because everyone loved Demon Finn Balor so much. It was so hard to believe too. This guy was legitimately on the night before with the Judgment Day. It felt like a completely different guy that was out there tonight, like last night.
Person.
Yeah,
it had his face theme too.
Yeah, so it's like it was great.
It had been a while since we heard it too.
Mm-hmm.
That was like since before he joined Judgment Day.
Yeah,
because that next week after he joined the Judgment Day, he kind of had a healed up like sinister version of it after that.
Yeah, I really wish. I think we talked about it last night too. That like this would have been like on the main roster anyways when the Demon actually lost because it would have actually meant something.
Yeah, it would have meant something, not him losing a Roman like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that stupid thing. You know, we talked about it. We're going to be talking about it in a second. There's a lot of brilliant. We talked about how great the tribal chief is. We've had some. It's come with some risks as of late, and I wonder if those risks have actually paid off because the Demon Finn Balor lost because of the freaking tribal chief. We lost Daniel Bryan. Well, I guess Daniel Bryan would have been gone anyway, so I can't really shut on that one too much. But Edge didn't get a world title because of it.
I don't think he wanted one anyway.
Could have had one.
I think he said that when he came back, he didn't want to win any championships.
But think about all the people that could have been world champion, like doing this fucking tribal chief shit. That like, we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, this was great. We had the old cell too, which was awesome, which I loved. They had the weapons with had like a color theme to them. I thought they didn't overdo. It looked good. They also too
I kind of
They
wish
were
they would do that with like all like cage, like Hell in a Cell matches. Like keep the cage itself, but like whatever theme, like color the character is, that should be the weapons for the match. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, and we didn't mention the biggest thing about it too. They had like the Pope. I think that's gonna be in like that Exorcist movie, like narrate the.
Yeah, Russell Crowe.
Yeah, which is pretty cool because I remember they showed like the advertisement for it, and I was thinking that was weird. Like, wait a minute, why are we getting an ad? Because we shouldn't be getting ads because
ads. Yeah, we have the non-ad version of Peacock.
so then you were like, I think this is a tie-in, and then yeah, it showed like he did like the narration for it and stuff, which is cool. And I like that they showed it because in the Triple H era, that let me in the Vince era, he would have just been like. If they would have just shown him, they wouldn't have even explained who he was. So I'm glad that they at least showed the trailer for it.
I love the tie-in too.
Yeah.
They probably scared the shit out of little kids that were watching the show though.
I know, probably. I can't blame them.
I
mean, I was fucking scared with what he was saying. So I mean, I was scared. What you know? What though? They had that coming because a little kid scared me that night. So I think they deserve to get scared. So. Yeah, this match is 4 3/4 stars. I think what hurt the match, obviously, is the stuff that was on, like, them having to stop the match to clean up Finn. But I'm okay. I'd rather have a stop.
They got that wound closed up really quickly.
Yeah, I'd rather like lose a stop. I'd rather that happen than have like a 5-star Hell in a Cell match, and then find out Finn could never wrestle again or something like that. So
yeah, I mean, for what we got, it was good. I loved it. Now we have the main event of the evening. It's the undisputed Universal Championship match.
No more excuses. No more excuses anymore.
The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. As you can tell by my voice, it didn't go the way we wanted it to.
At all.
Cody lost. I don't know why. But the more I've been thinking about it today, I was very passionate last night about what the reasoning was about why did they do this.
Especially you did something
reading on Twitter, and I know it's WrestleMania and it's the biggest it's the show of shows. It's the whatever the fuck it is, the showcase of the Immortals. But Cody needs his redemption arc. And it's the same thing that happened with Dusty Rhodes. Dusty needed his redemption arc. And I kept hearing people say Roman's reign actually started at SummerSlam.
That's fair.
So it only makes sense for him to lose it at SummerSlam. And the more I thought about it, I kind of agree with it. I don't like the fact that he lost at WrestleMania, but if the reasoning behind it is at SummerSlam he's going to lose the championship, I'll be okay with it. I'm not happy that he lost. I put my fucking heart and soul into that match, and it crushed me big time. It hurt me deep down inside because I was so convinced that Cody was going to win that it hurt me deep down inside. It sucks that he lost because it's. I mean, he lost the match. Like I don't care. I really don't care that he lost. It's just like, look who he lost in front of. That really aggravated me.
Yeah.
It's Liberty. It's Brandy. It's fucking Brody's. It's John Huber's son, Brody.
Yeah.
Like, and Michael Cole went out of his way to even say that he was given the weight belt to John Huber, who we know is Luke Harper's son, Brody. Like, it had everything in the world lined up for him to win. And he loses. The match itself was great. Cody losing sucks. But the more I thought about it today, and I let it process, if this is his redemption arc, and he wins it at SummerSlam, which is the second biggest show of the year, I'm going to be okay with it. Because just imagine from now until SummerSlam, he goes on a fucking rampage, Cody. And we get a different side of the American Nightmare. I think that would make a whole lot of sense.
So I'll give you my thoughts. Maybe that's it though too. Yeah, like I think if they didn't show like Brody and stuff, maybe we would have been okay with it. The thing that also doesn't make it okay, they should have had him. The stuff in the match that shouldn't have been there. Then, like they should have had that Kevin and Sammy spot in there if he wasn't going to lose. Like that's also
because and Solo getting tossed out too because he came back at the end and hit him with the spike.
I was okay with that just because like that they usually do that anyways. I just think Sammy and Kevin. They shouldn't have done that spot because it made all the sense of the world for him to lose, and they did that spot, and he still won.
I'm okay with the Samoan spike spot into the spear, but it looked like Cody was going to win because of that interference.
Yeah.
And as soon as Paul Heyman got up in the apron, I'm like, he lost.
Yeah. But they should have...
Up the Solo, there he is. He lost.
There's also one other thing that should not have been in the match. He shouldn't have broken out of the submission if Roman Reigns wasn't going to lose either. I would have had him
locked in the guillotine and then he jumped down. And if Cody passed out, I hate pass outs. The worst thing in wrestling. But if Cody had passed out, I would have been fine with it.
They should have done this. They should have taken out the Kevin Owens Sami Zayn thing. They should have done that at like SummerSlam instead. They should have taken out the. I mean, I get why they wanted to have the Brody thing in there. Like that was probably a Cody thing, but they should have called an audible and said, "If I'm not winning tonight, I will do that at like SummerSlam." I get it though because it's the main event of WrestleMania. They wanted Brody to be there. Like it just sucked. Maybe like I wish I don't know. They should have found a way to make that like. I think too like it just really sent the crowd into a bad state. And we'll talk about it. I think because of what we had heard earlier, it made fans like worried why it happened too. I feel like too if we didn't get that news that we got earlier, I think that's what also worried everybody too. But also too like
do with it though,
huh?
But also too at the same time, the news didn't have anything to do with the match.
Yeah. I'm just saying that's what made fans worried though. Like they heard that news get reported, and that's what they thought. That's why Cody lost and everything like that. So.
That was my reaction too.
Yeah, but then they definitely should have. This is kind of, and we still talk about it too. Everyone thinking that we did think that Vince was back in charge because we'd heard about it. I personally didn't think so. I think it was just a Triple H like misstep. So I am gonna go with you. I think if Cody does not get the belt at SummerSlam. It is like redemption arc, Maybe too. We were expecting Cody to win too. That's what
I'm the biggest fucking Cody mark ever since he came back to WWE, and I saw the way the fans treated him. I'm like, okay, this is legit.
Yeah.
And when he went away, I fucking missed him so much. And then when he came back and won the Rumble, and I was like, okay, this is it. He's gonna win. And within his first year coming back, he's gonna win. And then we got those awesome promos. Him being intertwined with Sammy and Kevin was awesome. And then you get to Mania and you think, there's no way this guy's going to lose. There's just no way. He brings out the Cody Vader.
Yeah.
Brandy, Liberty, Brody, all at ringside, and his mom, all at ringside. And his sister.
And especially, too, because they're doing that special next week with Dusty Rhodes. So you thought, I know that was going to happen anyway, but still, you think, well, there's a reason they're airing it after WrestleMania, the A&E special with Dusty Rhodes, too. So you're thinking, okay, so.
And he loses, and it just sucks the life out of the building.
I was kind of starting to think he was going to lose a little bit, just because, like, they had mentioned something that, like, there was going to be, like, this big surprise. They were going to do surprises at WrestleMania, but I'm like, okay, there's no way he's losing then because they brought out Shane. They brought out Pat McAfee. There was another surprise they brought out on the show that I'm trying to remember, but there was all these surprises. They had Bianca retain, which I don't think anyone expected. Because there was no title changes like at night too. Really, there was really no title change.
No, there wasn't any.
So I'm like, okay, they have.
And Gunther retained. I think everyone retained that had a match that night.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, they're having all the champions retain their belts tonight because they don't want to take away the moment from Roman and Cody. I think too. We also thought, but not just about Cody's story. It was the start of they were doing the whole thing where they were setting up the fall of the bloodline. Roman had to lose here, because it wouldn't have made sense. To be honest, they can make sense out of this.
Yeah.
Because Roman now, you do kind of need to see like that instant reaction that Roman has now that not that the Usos lost, that Jay lost last night.
Yeah.
This is why I'm also okay if they do this. If Jay's the one that screws up or turns on Roman and costs him the championship at SummerSlam, because I think they want to do that match again where Jay gets his redemption on Roman.
That would be an interesting one because that can carry into the next year.
Yeah, so there's like, maybe they want to keep Roman Reigns around for a little bit because they have some big stadium shows coming up. They have, the Puerto Rico show, they have the Saudi show, and they have the UK show. I know they said Roman's not going to be at the UK show, but they want to build like stories. Maybe they want to have Cody at Money in the Bank. I also think too, this is what happens when Cody. I think Cody probably was going to win it at Mania, but I think what happened to I think he would have gotten the title match sooner. But his injury fucked him up. So I think he probably would have gotten the title match at like either Survivor Series, or he probably maybe he would have faced Roman at Crown Jewel instead of Logan Paul.
Yeah,
like he would have faced him at Crown Jewel, done the redemption arc, won the Rumble, and then I mean, I talked about this too.
What
this
they
is
could do with Cody's redemption arc is have him win the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, so there's still stuff. This is salvageable.
It is salvageable. It sucks that he lost, and it hurts that he lost. But at the same time, the more I was thinking about it today, a redemption arc with a pissed off Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
I'm all for that.
Yeah,
and the fact that SummerSlam is perfect because that's where the reign started.
Yeah, well, it didn't start there, but it was like where the Tribal Chief started.
Yeah, the Tribal Chief. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Does nobody have a problem with the fact that it was fucking Solo that fucking interfered?
No, not really.
No, because it made sense.
That was so uncreative.
Plus, they did the whole thing. But they did the thing because Cody and Solo were feuding going into Mania, where Cody consistently told him he wasn't ready. Cody was his first.
Done that finish, but I get the story they were telling. The problem is he was already ejected, and they already told that story. And they
the ref was down. The ref
at Clash at the Castle, like not even 6 months before.
Well, also like Cody beat him. Cody was his first loss at Raw this week.
No, I get that, but like. He's the one that fucking is the deciding factor, not fucking a debuting Jay White, not AJ Styles returning.
Why would Jay White interfere though?
Fucking Bullet Club history there.
I think they want to do Tribal Chief stuff.
Riddle would have fucking made a lot of sense too. Probably the best choice out of all of them because of the jealousy he has towards Cody over Orton. Remember that little thing?
That doesn't really make sense either, though. Him and Riddle and Cody don't really have like a connection with each other.
No, I'm not saying they have a connection, but Riddle and Orton do, and Cody and Orton do.
But why would Riddle be jealous of the connection that
they planted seeds
that Cody and Randy have?
Seeds ages ago. Literally last year, they planted the seeds before Orton got hurt. That Riddle was, angry. You could even see it in his face that he was pissed off with Cody for trying to take his best friend away. Like, that was the story they were going to fucking go with.
I don't think they were telling that story at all. I think,
no. Well, they weren't telling that. They weren't telling that story once Orton got hurt. But that was absolutely where they were about to go.
No, they weren't.
I could tell.
Yeah, they weren't.
I could tell by the little look he was giving Cody in that moment. Like, he wanted to rip his head off in kayfabe, obviously. That was a story that they were fucking telling, and I don't know why you don't have somebody outside of the bloodline cost them. Because here's the issue, right? The problem is, that's great for everybody that's a hardcore fan. They're gonna watch, they're gonna tune in, they're gonna see Cody win the fucking championship. Cool. What about everybody else that you just chased the fuck off with that finish now? What, we're gonna just say fuck them?
Tune in.
Yeah, I think we have to tune in because I think they're doing the
Well, I mean,
redemption
no,
of.
that's great, but nobody's gonna tune in now. I mean,
They will tonight. They
my
will
personal
tonight.
fucking feelings aside to it. Realistically, nobody's gonna have the patience for that shit. That's just how it is in this generation now. And the bottom line is, unless it's Mania in this day and age, nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. Outside of the circle that we have, nobody gives a shit. That is the ultimate problem. If they're not going to have stories for Cody to build him for that year-long redemption arc, what was the point? Because the bloodline is only like 6 people. You're not going to be able to fucking have them feud with freaking 3 active wrestlers plus Roman for that entire year span. And I don't think SummerSlam's the answer. I don't think Money in the Bank's the answer. I don't think it has to be Mania. Therein lies the issue. And
I think you can do stuff where
or whatever. I know where they're going with this now because you and everybody's been calling it since that. Oh, he's gonna win it at Philly, land of the free, because he's the American Nightmare. That's the story they're building. Why? I have no idea. I have no freaking clue. When you already have 2 championships that are held on one guy. I don't understand that. I don't get that. Unless the goal is to split the titles at some point and Cody wins the world championship and then you leave the 1,000-day reign with the Universal title, because that's, by the way, that's the one with the history, on Roman. I don't see the fucking point. Like, I just don't. But maybe I'm nearsighted or whatever, but I really didn't see the fucking point in that when you're risking tuning people out when you didn't need to. Or at the very least, if they were going to do what they did, okay, does he win the belt tonight? Probably not. But that was like the only way to salvage that, because people were ready to explode for him winning tonight. Or last night now.
I think he'll come out. He'll cut like a promo tonight. I don't think he'll make any excuses. He'll just talk about how he lost because that's the face thing that they do. He'll get attacked tonight by like probably Solo. I think they're building a 6-man at Backlash. It's going to be Cody, KO, and Sammy versus either Solo and the Usos or Roman and the Usos. The faces will win that one to get Cody his win back. He could be in the King of the Ring tournament. If they make it for the title, he could get screwed out of it by like the Bloodline or something because Roman doesn't want to face him. He can win Money in the Bank, and then he says he's going to cash in his Money in the Bank on Roman at SummerSlam where the Tribal Chief started. And then he beats Roman. This time he says it's going to be like Hell in a Cell or some type of stipulation match where like nobody can get involved this time. And then that's how he gets his title because that's basically the redemption now. Because I think they can save it if they do it at SummerSlam because that's where the Tribal Chief started to begin with.
I don't know. I've lost it with them. Like that was it for me. But if that's what they do, cool. I ain't watching. But you guys have fun. I didn't know how any of that made sense. Maybe I'm just too fucking angry or pissed off to fucking see that. But I really just I didn't know if you guys had an explanation for any of that other shit. You guys.
I just think it had to be. I just think it had to be Solo because, well, you don't want to. They want. I don't even know if AJ's ready to come back yet. We because he hasn't posted anything.
Well, again, it didn't have to be AJ. I mentioned like a bunch of different people that could have helped. Definitely
I think it had to be
Rollins.
Solo.
I'm shocked Rollins didn't help him. I understand he's face now, but I mean, come on. There's still bad blood there.
I think Solo made the most sense just because him and Cody had the thing where Cody kept telling him he wasn't ready. Cody cost him his first loss on the main roster, and there's also a big storyline where Solo can be the favorite now because the Usos lost the tag belts, but yet Solo helped Roman keep his WWE Undisputed Universal title. So Solo's kind of like in that favorite now category.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I guess I'll keep an eye out. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems really freaking odd that they had the most eyes that they're probably going to have since Mania X7, and they just blew that out of the fucking water for the sake of the story that may or may not be told with Vince now back, you know. So that's really all I have. I'll let you guys wrap it up because I keep getting calls. I gotta get my suit from my stepdad here.
Oh, that's fair. Do we have to wrap up soon so you can like end the stream and stuff like that?
No, you guys can continue. Just stall for at least like 10 minutes longer.
Okay. So now we have to do the letter grade for WrestleMania 39. Well, what do we give the star rating to? Because I will give the. So this will be for now. I will give the WWE Undisputed Championship match. I will give it a 4-star rating, but we will revisit that if Cody does not win the belt at SummerSlam. It's going down to like a 3 3/4 star rating. But if they do the Redemption arc, it's 4. So as of right now, it's 4 stars. What would you give it?
I give it 4 stars too, and I agree with you too. Like that's if it doesn't go that way, then it goes down.
Yep. And now we got to do the letter grade for WrestleMania 39. So this is basically going to be the same thing. For now, I will give WrestleMania 39 an A. I honestly thought before, obviously, that situation happened with Cody and Roman, there was some missteps at WrestleMania 39, but nothing like big. Like obviously, I would have liked it if Asuka won the belt. I would have liked it if the women's showcase match would have been better. But I thought we had the best Mania in years, especially night one. Really ruled. The set looked really awesome. We really didn't talk about that. I thought the set looked like the best set that we had in years. I really personally enjoyed WrestleMania 39, so I will give it an A. It was everything I expected it to be and more. We will revisit that again. It will go down if they don't do Cody's like redemption arc and all that type of stuff. So what would you give WrestleMania 39?
I give it an A too, and for all the same reasons too. Everything about it was awesome. The set looked great. The performers busted their ass for our entertainment. I really appreciate them for that. But again, if Cody's redemption arc doesn't happen, he doesn't win at SummerSlam, it goes down.
Yeah. But yeah, so let's talk about some big news we have today. I'll let you talk about it because you've been able to like do more research on it and stuff. You were kind of the one last night sharing the articles in the chats and things like that about WWE is officially sold now.
Yeah. To the parent company of UFC. They merged into one. It's not a sell technically. They just merged into one company. Really crazy. It's just bizarre.
Uh-huh.
I never thought that they would be sold in my lifetime. I didn't think it would ever happen. I never thought it would be out of the McMahon family. But it is. As of this morning, official WWE has been sold to Endeavor, which is the parent company of the UFC. Ari, I forget his last name, but his first name's Ari. He owns 51% of UFC, and Vince owns 49% of the WWE. And he's the executive chairman of WWE is Vince. Everyone got and everyone practically got a new title for the most part. Nick Khan's now the president of WWE, and Triple H maintains what he's been the whole time, which is a chief.
I think that's gonna be cool stuff. It'll be interesting to see if like they promote each other, like WWE promotes UFC and like UFC promotes WWE, since they're both like one big brand now. I think that could do wonders for both promotions, because it gets more eyeballs on each product and things like that. Obviously the biggest concern I think everybody has is the pay-per-view stuff, since UFC's on ESPN Plus, and you have to pay extra to get like the UFC pay-per-views. As you've talked about, that's not going to be a worried. Well, not here, but you've talked about it in other places, because WWE has a 2-year. Is a 2 or 3 year deal with
3 years left.
So they have 3 years left with Peacock. So that we wouldn't have to worry about that for 3 years. So we can probably, when we get to like year 2, towards the end of it, maybe we'll hear more about it. Maybe like at the beginning of year 3, because they signed a Peacock in February of 2021. So I'm pretty sure we won't hear about it until like 3 years from. So that we probably won't hear about it until like maybe like January, maybe like December. So maybe January 2026 or December 2025, just because they want to say, they probably want to see something before I hope I would like it to keep them on Peacock, obviously, just because it'd be less cheaper and things like that. But obviously if they moved it to the ESPN Plus, I would totally get it, because that's like their thing and all that type of stuff. I wouldn't mind if they did both, if they kept it on Peacock and they did it on like ESPN Plus. It probably doesn't make the most, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense financially, though, because I don't think anyone would get ESPN Plus for WWE if they could still get it on Peacock. So it wouldn't really make any sense. There's obviously been the reports again that Vince McMahon is back of head of creative, as James just said like earlier, because he did like an interview talking about how he's not like in the weeds and all that type of stuff, which I think a lot of people have speculated is why the result of the main event that happened last night that happened. Personally, but I think that's been debunked now, because I shared an article earlier that said that like Vince sent an email himself saying that Triple H is still going to stay in head of creative and things like that. We don't even know how long Vince is going to be in the picture. I assume they just want him in the picture at the moment, because one, he was in charge of the sale anyways, and as you talked about earlier, not earlier, but you've talked about it before, this is just a 2 year. He might just be around for 2 years. Since the company's been bought, they want to keep it. They want to keep it going and stuff like that. Because they know Vince. They did business directly with Vince for the most part when it came to the sale. I think they would want to keep him around and stuff like that. Because Vince has also done this for like years too. Triple H, even though he's done the creative things, it's like fairly new at it and all that type of stuff. I think this could be a good thing. It's just weird to think that it's been sold. I know we talked about it like earlier this year. So it's not like it's a complete surprise, but I wonder if they'll announce it like tonight on Raw. We speculated that they would at WrestleMania, since that's when the news started to be reported and stuff like that, but it wasn't official yet. And Triple H didn't comment anymore on it on the press conference, because it wasn't like official yet, and he wanted to just focus on like WrestleMania last night. So personally, I personally think this actually can be a really good thing for both UFC and WWE. So is there anything that you want to say about WWE being sold now?
No, that's been we just covered it. Yeah, I don't have anything else to take. I don't have another take on it.
So let's do some predictions for like stuff. We'll just do Raw tonight. I was gonna do NXT, but I don't even remember what the matches are in NXT really. So we'll just do Raw. Raw, I think, will be a big show. the big thing is I think people were going to tune in tonight anyways because it's the Raw after WrestleMania. A lot of people are excited for it because I think we are going to get a big Raw tonight because, you know, we haven't had like a big Raw, and there's a lot of people that are there that have reportedly signed with WWE. I hope this show didn't prevent that, but we'll see. I assume they're going to be there tonight anyways because I think Triple H has been talking to these people since well before the sale, probably like a few weeks ago. So we'll just do some predictions. Anything you think will happen tonight or you want to happen tonight?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Probably some big surprise returns. Big surprise debuts.
Yeah.
I think that what you don't see on Raw, you'll probably see on SmackDown.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if I think Roman might be on tonight just because I don't think he'll be on SmackDown this week since he may want to rest, but he might be on SmackDown. Who knows? Because I don't know what he could say on his promo tonight that he said in the press conference already. So,
yeah.
I think we're getting some call-ups and stuff tonight. I do think we are going to get a great Raw tonight, and yeah, I think too. There's a lot of things that can happen tonight. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. And then yeah, like I guess we didn't really talk about it. Like what does Roman do? Because we even said what does Roman do as champion now? I don't think he's gonna do much. I think he's gonna sit out Backlash. I think they're just gonna do a 6-man with Cody, KO, and Sammy versus the Bloodline with Solo and the Usos. I could see him defending his belt at the King of the Ring pay-per-view, since I think they mentioned last night during the bump, like talk that like Roman would get to 1,000 days by then. I'd imagine they'd want to do like a big thing where he defends the title that night, saying, "Oh, will he actually get to 1,000 days?" And then at Money in the Bank, I think he'll sit out, and then I think at SummerSlam he's definitely losing. I feel like Cody's not. I don't think Roman. I think Roman obviously will still be on. Like again, like we said, this is salvageable. So
it is salvageable, yeah.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything that we have to talk about. I need to stop talking because my voice is getting sore because I've been like screaming from like WrestleManias and things like that. So
have to, yeah, my throat was a little scratchy this morning too.
Yeah, so we're gonna do some plugs. Is there anything you want to plug or promote?
Just watch this week, please. If you tuned out and you're pissed off at WrestleMania, just watch tonight. And if you don't like it, then you can stop.
Yeah, I mean that's what Steve Coakley's doing. He's watching Raw tonight, and he's at least he's taking a few weeks off, which is fine. Like, I mean, there's other reasons that Steve Coakley's taking time off that he's mentioned before, anyways. So just in case, by the way, there's something we have to work out. Actually, we have to. I think Steve lost his predictions belt because so we have to go through the predictions then real quick. I'll just find it real quick. I have to find it because okay, so we're almost there. Okay. So we both picked Cena for the US title match, so we both got that one. We both picked the Street Profits, correct?
Yeah.
We both
I'm trying to remember the fucking.
I know. So that's one. To keep track of your points, I'll keep track of mine. So that's one for me, one for you. We both got the 6-woman tag right, so that's 2 for us. We both picked Ray to beat Dominic, correct?
Yes.
And then I picked Logan Paul to beat Seth. You picked Seth, correct?
Yes. So how many points is that for me right now, so I can keep track?
Oh, okay. So I have all right. So you pick the Street Profit. So I think we each have 3 right now.
Go into that, Matt. So I have 4 then, because I picked Seth.
No, so you picked Braun Strowman and Ricochet. Oh yeah, you do have 4. because I have 3 because I didn't get the Seth match. I have 4 now because I picked KO and Sammy, and you have 5. I have 5 because I picked Rhea Ripley. So do you have 6?
I have 6, yeah, because I picked Rhea.
Nobody got a point for the.
Yeah, that Pat McAfee match doesn't count.
Okay, yeah, because we didn't know about it. Nobody gets a point for the women's showcase match, I believe, because nobody picked. Because I picked Liv and Raquel. Who did you end up picking?
I picked out Raquel and Liv.
The IC title match that got me to 6 because I picked Walter. Who did you pick?
I picked Gunther to win, so that's 7 for me.
And then we both have Edge, so that's 7 for me, 8 for you. I think you won, bud, because I had Brock and you had nobody picked Bianca, nobody picked Cody, so you won. I think you're the champ.
We both picked Edge.
Yeah.
We both picked Asuka.
Yeah, we both picked Brock. We all picked
Cody.
So I think you won.
I won.
Because Steve picked this is Steve picked. He picked Theory. He picked Braun and Ricochet. He picked Trish and Lita. He picked Rey Mysterio. He picked Seth. He picked KO and Sammy. He picked Charlotte, Chelsea and Sonya.
Yeah, that's
Sheamus, Edge, Brock Lesnar. Oh, Bianca. Oh, he has 8. And how many did you have?
The guy had over 10.
All right, so let's do you. All right, so you picked Cena, Street Profits, Trish, Lita, Becky, Rey Mysterio. You picked Seth.
Yeah.
KO and Sami Zayn. Rhea. Walter. Edge. Brock. Oh, you. Okay, so he had 8. You have 9. So you're the champ. You are the champ.
I am the champion.
And you can't. I think you'd rather have Cody win than be the champ, though. I think you would have rather that. So
that would have been my win.
Huh?
That would have been my win.
Yeah. But anyhow, let's do some plugs. I'll do my plugs. Oh, James, you have that video, so I don't have to do any plugs, or no? I don't think he's back. I don't think he's back.
Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Because we have to sit here for a while. He is getting ready. He's got to put a suit on, so I think that's taking up some time.
Give him a quick buzz. Buzz.
Are you calling him, or am I going to call him?
You. This is interesting.
And I'm coming in a second, guys.
Okay. We couldn't really kill time anymore.
On the outro?
Yeah, we're doing
pretty much.
All right.
We did all the plugs. We killed time by say.
Well,
so.
See you guys. Sorry about that.
Podcast has concluded. Be sure to check out more group discussion as far as WWE content is concerned, and check out more content from For the Win Productions.